Welcome to Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night, hump day edition. Blue Blood. Holla at your boy. I'm your man, 50 grand Kevin Barnes. I am the mouthpiece of the movement, the militant with a microphone, aka the Negro Whisperer. But I'm not alone. I got my co-pilot with me, my brother Kamar Carter. What's good with you, homie?
Life. What's happening, y'all? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk, we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, doctor. I'm all y'all holistic health and wellness coach. Come on, Carter. I'm also the one who brings you nature and turn herbs and supplements. Yeah. And vitality. If you ain't had it, you better come on in and get it. If you ain't seen it, you better take one more look. Yeah. What's happening, kid?
Man, ain't nothing to it but to do it. I'm very happy to be here as usual. I see Sharon Evans in the chat room early. You got apparel coming your way. As usual, man, I'm behind the eight ball because I have to ship. If you got apparel orders, it's coming this weekend because we're in the second wave now, so it's all good. As you can see, I got the classic. A lot of people want the zip ups, and those are dope, but we still got the classics too with the good outlaw representation on it. So hit us up. In the meantime and in between time, our phone number here is 262-202-5131. I'll say that again, 262-202-5131. I believe my sister Sharon is saying luxurious gift baskets by Shay, 414-739-2660. Send me that information. If you got a flyer or something, I'll put it in the group as well, the People's News Network. You all may have to forgive my voice. I got a little cold. Say that again.
No, I was just sharing. She wanted my Facebook also. If you got a flyer, send it to my inbox. I'll share it also.
Okay. T.R. Arthur, I see you. Forgive my voice, y'all. I got a cold. So a little bit under the weather. Season's changing, but it's all good. Very important that I did a show tonight. I want y'all to share this show, Blue Blood. And obviously there's a reason that we're going to talk about Blue Blood tonight. So we're on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until we cut the machine off. And so that's when you can catch the show. I'm working on chopping up the shows, trying to get some edits, some different edited parts of the show, the classical moments of the show that we have all the time. To start feeding that out a little bit more. But in the meantime, if you want to help us share the show. And I shout out to my boy from Lockhart TV. It's crazy how the universe flows because I just so happened to be in a cell phone shop and I ran into the proprietor of Lockhart Media. And if you're familiar with how we roll with the People's News Network, this brother does a phenomenal job of getting out here, getting to the news, getting to issues that are important to us first. And I share a lot of his stuff. And I just so happened to be out and about. And he said, oh, you the one who does the podcast. I'm like, for sure. And by the way, I'm Lockhart TV. Wow. Because we've communicated, right, before. So look forward to some collaborations in that regard coming for us and Lockhart TV and Lockhart Media. Dope brother, man, does his thing if you and his high quality content. So even if we can just get him on to do a segment, some really more serious premium news type stuff. So looking forward to that. Real, what's going on with you, my brother?
Peace, man. I gotta get me a new router, man. My Wi-Fi is still tripping, but I'm all good. Happy to be here, man.
Yes, sir. Happy Black History Month to you and Kamar.
Yeah, for sure. To y'all too.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Byron Terry. He said, shout out to the Outlaw Radio family. Stay safe
Peace.
first. Yeah, man. I feel okay. Rail's here now. And so, we can get in motion, right? We can because the name of the show is Blue Blood. And I want to say, obviously, we had the death of a police officer here last night. Was it last night? And it's a lot of different circumstances surrounding what happened. Please chime in if you have information on this because it's developing as we speak. You know, different details are coming out. So the jux of it is that it's a 19-year-old young brother who was just coincidentally in court the day prior and given 3 years of probation. Now, from what I understand, it was a misdemeanor conviction, so that in itself is not an issue. But of course, we have people who really, are out here and really talking about what's going on with them letting criminals back out into the community. Um, but so now this brother committed a crime, I guess, on the far northwest side and allegedly murdered a police officer on the south side. And how it happened and the details of it are very murky at this point. Let me start off by saying this, and I know I'm gonna say this in light of I know how people who listen to Outlaw Radio feel about law enforcement. I deal with some very revolutionary individuals, some very militant brothers, and I understand that. But two people lost their lives. The officer and the young man. So I want to say, first of all, condolences and prayers to both families. Apparently, the police officer was a parent, and and we know this young man was a son, a brother, a cousin. He was a member of our community. So I want to say condolences to both families before we get into it. But this is peculiar. I've said this a million times. Don't think that the violence that is really like destroying our community right now. Don't think that violence won't get back to you because you choose to ignore it. Okay. Mama Jenkins, I see you in the building. She said, great evening to my outlaw family. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Peace,
ma'am.
peace.
We're gonna try to talk
Hey,
about this police officer's murder. Tiasha Arthur told me to boil some water with a lemon and drink it hot, add a cough drop, put Vicks vapor rub on my chest, under my feet, and put socks on. Those are Alabama remedies. All right, all right, all right. I'm sure wifey will hit me with the citrus tea pretty soon with the lemon and the boiled water because I got to loosen up whatever congestion I have. But Dion, I see you, Dion James. Y'all welcome to Blue Blood. Share the show, obviously. Vince Tony, I see you in the chat room. I see you. I see you. The Outlaw family is in the building, man. Everybody represent trying to get this thing in front of more eyes. That's the goal. Trying to garner support, not just for me, but for everybody. For Real, for Kamar, for the Juice Lady, for everybody who for you all. It's important for me to be a real source for you all to get information from and have discussions. But so this cop killing, strange details, man. Kamar, I don't know if you know your mic's off. I mean your camera's off. I just want you to know.
yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to. So real, have you heard anything about this? I mean, do you have you
No,
any details?
just what I seen in the group. I didn't know the young brother lost his life too. So did they end up shooting each other, or did another cop shoot him, or how did that go?
That's the details that I from what I read, and I put up what was in the group. And
Yeah.
so you were with me in that it was kind of vague, and I,
Oh,
didn't
okay.
really
Yeah.
go back and stack story after story regarding this today. So that's why, and I kind of lean on the Outlaw family to keep us up to speed with what some of the finer details are too. Tiasha says the 19-year-old shouldn't have been out. He's been robbing people and damn near taking people's lives. I send condolences to the officer's family. That's okay. There we go. It's black people who are saying this is a shame, right?
Mm.
It's a cop. This dude keeps doing his job, but we got this relationship with police, and I've heard brothers say all the time, "You take one of ours." I that kind of mentality. Take one of mine and take one of yours. That's what they get. It's we know what the murmurs are. So, Kamar, what do you think about this?
well, I mean, it's always bad whenever anybody lose their life, right?
Yes, sir.
When I first caught it, just like any other black person, I mean, well, actually, I even was talking, I mean, while we was watching it, and I said, I feel bad for the officer family, but the sting don't sting like it sting when it's one of us. Like I felt like the news they don't give all that action to one of our good people get slain by one of them. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm on the fence. Like I understand both sides. I feel bad for both families. You know what I mean? I'm sure I'm sure his parents probably taught him better. You know what I'm saying? Than to be out doing the stuff he was doing allegedly. But I always tell people too, the lifestyle you live, you know
Right.
what I mean? It brings about
Mm.
certain demises or certain endings. You know what I'm saying? Like certain shit can happen. If you out here robbing somebody, you liable to get killed.
Okay.
You
And it's,
know, and on the flip side, if you choose to be a police officer, you could probably get killed too. I ain't
hmm,
saying it's right. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that's a part of the job what they take, and they understand that when they take that oath. You know, again, my condolences to all the families. It's just I'm all over the place with it, man, because I see both sides.
um, and I really want to know how people feel about this. So we welcome, different opinions or whatever and whatnot. That's why we have a phone number. It's 262-202-5131. There's a lot to be said here because there's a lot to talk about in regards to this. I want to start with the young brother who allegedly done this. I'm going to say allegedly because that's just what I do. People say, no, Kevin did it. It's just a word for me.
Mhm.
Tiasha said the 19-year-old started shooting at the officer first. Vince Tony said, what about the body cam footage? Is there body cam footage?
Right.
That's a good question, Vince. Is there body cam footage? There were other officers on the scene. I would assume he wasn't alone, or was he? Tiasha said the 19-year-old started shooting at the police when they tried picking him up for armed robbery. Okay, so he was wanted. We heard that. Dion said I'm one side and then it ain't on the police. Okay,
I
okay.
can understand that.
Byron Terry said CCAP will tell Terrell Thomas stories as far as his criminal record. One dead cop and one dead black male. I'll take the cop over a nigger for $500, Jim. I think he's just coining a phrase. I think he's. I'm not. I don't think because I know he got
Right.
love for T Buck.
Yeah, he do.
Uh,
That's why. That's B.
right. That's B Dog the
He,
hog.
he from the block.
Dion said they should stop chasing people. Okay. We'll talk about that. You're right, Vince Tony. Allegedly. Probation the day before. If true, he had his chance. Okay. So to rewind all of this and go all the way back, I'm glad people are kind of, throwing contributing and throwing into the pot. That's what we
This
love.
shit getting wilder and wilder by the comment, man.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of figured once you stir this pot because let's be honest, and we have to be because it's Outlaw Radio. We as people of color have a serious issue in our community with our relationship with the police, like the way they operate. Now, if you take a person like myself, I understand the need for police in the community. I understand the need for law and order. But the way police for a long period of time have behaved towards us and in our community is egregious. And so it takes a lot of empathy away from us when something happens. And they I think since 2018, 5 officers have perished in the line of duty here. Okay. And so we know each time there's a sentiment for us as people of color. It's kind of like Kamar said, it's hard. You look at it and you say it's hard. But I want to go back to the fact that we have a 19-year-old who is allegedly bold and brazen enough to just pull out the hammer and start bucking at the police. The fact that we have, or we could possibly have, this real kind of element of young people, in particular young black males in our community, troubles me. It worries me. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I feel like if we got youngsters right now that are here, I guess the only thing that you can really cultivate from it is to say, let's figure out a way to get a hold to these youngsters and cultivate that energy that they have. That kind of gung-ho mentality, because that's a soldier's kind of mentality to say, I know he's armed, I'm armed, let's do it. Let's see, that's really the fair one. That's 50-50 chance. Mama Jenkins said sincere condolences to both families, but my questions are, did they ambush that young man? I thought I heard they were looking for casings. Yes, I feel the pain from both sides, but once again, a death is a death. Both mothers wake up with no son yesterday and will forever. They said it's going to take time to get the cameras once again, how many times did this young man get hit? Yes, please enlighten me if you have details. Thank you, Mama Jenkins. Shout out to Paris LaShawn, Shay and Kruma. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Vince said, let the dust settle. Get the footage now. Okay, okay. BT said, I'm so afraid of moving around in my city. I'm afraid I'll kill one of you Mortal Kombat ninjas just while driving. Um, listen, I'm still worried about the fact that we have youngsters who have this mentality. Because that's, I mean, I, if you're not on some revolutionary shit, if you have this kind of chutzpah to really open fire at the police, you would have no problem gunning me down or gunning, one of my people down or somebody, my family, if this is all true. Dion says they perish because they goofy ass be chasing motherfuckers. The one officer thought he was a NASCAR driver and his goofy ass died. Yeah, I mean, that was a horrific accident, and I don't know the high speed chases. Was it a chase? Was it an ambush? Did they, was it? But first of all, I don't know if we're connecting the dots correctly because now he was wanted for something, a robbery that he had committed on the northwest side. Correct? This is in addition after he came from court, he had committed another robbery, and this is why this officer was on him. My thing is, how do they get to Cleveland? How do they get all the way to the south side? Was this a chase? Was he hiding out? Is that policy and procedure for the police? Or should they, maybe this should have been like, okay, there's a known armed suspect who's committing robberies. Let's go get him. And there's officers on the south side who I thought that was their, I don't know if jurisdiction is the right word. Y'all let me know.
Hey,
Yeah.
and if I'm correct, man, the news lady said Brookfield police is heading the investigation. So I don't know how this shit work.
Well, typically they will, if there's a police shooting, they will take like the next municipality and let them handle the investigation to get rid of any kind of bias. So you can't say, because with the Tulsa killings, MPD was, when Joseph Mensa was gunning people down, MPD was the ones in charge of it. She said, I don't group all cops together, but fuck criminals. Like Byron Terry said, look at his criminal report. It does. Is his record out? Because he's a juvenile. It should be seen. No, he's not a juvenile. He's
No, he's
19 years old.
19.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right. My bad. Rare said, get it right, nigga. Shit.
Oh no, that's why I'm trying to figure out. Like, I don't know the full story, but I mean, 19, a grown ass man.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Yes, sir.
I got an 18-year-old son, and I tell him he's grown now. So 19 is a year older than my grown ass son.
The cop was from the District 4. The police got killed on the south side. That's what I'm saying. Like, was this massive chase? The details, the lack of details right now creates a lot of murkiness, and that's why we have to start talking about right now what this is about. Byron says, "Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, or you'll be talking about you." They tracked the cell phone. Okay, they tracked his phone. Okay. A stolen cell phone that he had robbed somebody from. That's how they found him. Okay, B, I got you. The second part is, how did this? They said that there was an altercation, physical altercation, where the officer approached him. He resisted. I guess he had a gun. We don't know what happened. We don't know who shot what shot who. I seen Rick Muhammad put up the conspiracy theory already, saying this is a cover up. Is this was this a target on this young man's head? Was he a whistleblower about some of his knowings of some illicit police behavior? People throw them up in the air, man. They throw all kinds of stuff up in the air, man. So, but once again, I seen somebody say off early, why ain't nobody marching? Where's the outrage at? A cop got killed, just doing his job. Where black people are so one sided. If this was a white dude killing a black kid, everybody would have an issue with it. Where's the outrage? Yeah, so that's kind of like some of the sentiment.
Was the cop a brother too?
No.
Oh.
He was of Caucasian persuasion.
Okay.
Kobe Lloyd said he's supposed to be in college or the military. Just get a job. It's safer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm concerned. This shows, because I just been falling into this conversation with several individuals about what's going on with our young people in Milwaukee. And like, that's why we closed the show out on Monday, and I was referencing the conversation that it's because of single black women. They've run our young black males into the mud. And so because Milwaukee is a city where I think something like 78% of the households have single moms in them when it comes to black families. Mama Jenkins said his mother needs to ask for the report and the autopsy report immediately. Why in the fuck are they chasing cars? What about the other district stations? From what the news is saying, they tracked the stolen phone, but why didn't they call ahead? Man, there's so many questions, Mama Jenkins. There's so many questions. That's why I want to talk about it on the show. Juice Lady in the building. What to do, Courtney?
Hey y'all, how y'all? You know when you say
Go.
that, I be ready to throw up gang signs. Don't you probably got to give me a different introduction. I
Go
don't
ahead,
know.
represent, girl. Throw it up.
I'm saying just lady in the building, like yeah,
Juice,
like,
Yeah,
Juice like this
right.
gang sign. Juice
right.
You
like
already know I'm throwing them.
Yay, yay. No, but we so it's Outlaw Radio Blue Blood because of course we officer was killed this week allegedly by a 19-year-old young black male who had gone to court today prior and been given 3 years of probation for I guess some involvement in some armed robberies and things of that nature. So Byron Terry said the case was when he was 18. He pled guilty and the other hit and run was dismissed and read in. He said, "Fuck dude," and I said it. He had his chance. Damn. Okay, he was 19, but okay. B, I hear you. Dion said they setting it up. Believe me, watch it. I hear everyone talking about tougher laws and bail reform. Yeah, ain't this the poster child for this now?
You know he is.
He said, "Good thing it wasn't me or an associate." Yes, it is. B. You know, I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm glad it wasn't you, my brother, when you was out there law and enforcement. Um, Dion says, but when a motherfucker who wants all of this BS fall in the trap and be like, OMG, why me? Remember, you wanted bail reform and tougher laws. Dion, I do want tougher laws though.
Hey Dion.
He said, well, you see it, right? Dion, like juice lady in the building, right? Serena Lynette, how you doing, sis? She
Hey
said, "Hey,
Serena.
outlaws."
Peace.
Byron
hey,
said, Terrell Thompson ducked up. Go find him. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna say yeah.
You know, the D by the F, maybe he been fucked up, you know.
Oh, okay.
So,
She said, "G's up, G's up." She
Exactly. You
said,
know what I'm
"G's up."
saying?
Right.
Right.
Told them forks up,
Everybody
no cap,
understand.
juice, lady. Now I ain't say all that. Now
Cause
come on
y'all
now.
see every time we be having like a Bucks game and niggas be downtown, that's the first thing they gonna throw up with some forks.
I
That's the
ain't
first,
said nothing
especially if
about
it's an
no
old
forks.
Milwaukee thing.
I,
Motherfuckers be
I cannot endorse that product. I've said
Don't
nothing about
endorse it,
forks.
Kev.
I cannot endorse
Don't.
that. Ewok the Great in Arizona. What's popping, bro?
Man, you already know it, man. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. Hey, I mean, I understand, some people saying fuck dude and yeah, that's what he needed to get. Yeah, you can't sit there and judge that man for his former crimes for what they charging him right now with. We need to be afforded just like they afforded. Hey, let's wait and see everything. Let's investigate first. They sit around and take 3 years and shit investigating and shit. No, we want to know just like they want to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
We
think
jump we jumping on homeboy and shit like, man, fuck him. Them little bastards all is one, and they all do the same shit. But no, just afford dude his motherfucking day. Don't just jump down little man throat. Now, if he done fucked up that bad, then say, yeah, that motherfucker fucked up. Don't just start rendering opinions and shit, man. Nobody know what happened. And let us look at the camera footage and see what happened. They might have did do some fucked up shit that led to that.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
that's very true. But I'm
If
glad.
it as well.
I got you. I got you. I got you, Ewok. But I'm glad we having a conversation about it because I think the conversations lead to solutions, and so once something happens like this, and we don't know what policy and procedure because off there's it looks a certain way from both sides. It looks shady on the cop side from what we know that a cop would, be on the south side unless he was, one of the officers. I don't know. He wasn't a detective. So I don't know that, this is how they move. Was he part of a special unit? that's out here in the community chasing, and because they identify individuals sometimes and say it's the hole in the wall gang. We gonna go get them. But you always have to ask this as a black person, especially during Black History Month. Is there a cover up here?
Mm.
Is there some shady behavior? I'm all for it once all the dust settles, like Vince said, and everything is everything. If we find out that this was totally some belligerence on the behalf of this young brother. He basically said fuck it and pissed in the wind and did this, and it was wrong. It was wrong, then that's fine. But let's make sure we get all the details. Because for so long in this country, one of the things law enforcement has been able to do, and I'm not saying that this is the case, they've been able to kill us and cover it up. They've been able to kill us and change the narrative. We know this. We know that there's situations where things have happened and cops don't admit to until 20, 30 years later. Okay, we lied. I lied. You become a whistleblower because your conscience is killing you. So it's important to ask the questions. It's important to float theories and hypotheses
Thank
and
you.
say, okay, but more importantly, it's really time to talk about what's going on in the city. Mayor, you have no answer, right? He has no answer. He has no plan. Where's your plan? Special election, you only had 2 years. You're going on year 2. I don't see you being able to come up with a comprehensive plan to slow the violence in this city. And it goes when something like this happens. Of course, he's going to show up at the press conference. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against this brother. I really would hope that any black man who's given an opportunity would succeed and do well. But I'm just not seeing anything. And all of this new black leadership that we have, I'm just not seeing anything. As a matter of fact, I spend a large part of my day right now looking for things in the community to provide for people. Resources, programs, events. I'm trying to get on mailing lists. I'm trying to and I'm saying, what's going on? Where's it at? It's just not, I'm not seeing it. So that's part of, Outlaw Radio Blue Blood tonight too, to once again put the onus on our leadership. Because how do we get in situations like this? And what I have to go back to our youth. You're in court for an armed robbery. You do another armed robbery, right? Like the mentality of our youngsters.
Because people don't be thinking, Kev. I mean, I was still a car, and then I was still another car. Like, that's what you do when you be doing bad shit. It ain't like you do it once and then be like, oh, no. I mean, sometimes people do, but usually you do it a couple times. Yeah.
B says street niggas are real niggas. What would you refer to them as? Are street niggas real niggas? Does that make you a real nigga because you street?
It's a difference. No, that just makes them, as my son would call them, jigaboos. That's what he would call them.
Detriments to the community. Maybe we should refer to them as buck dancers. Dion said tougher laws don't discriminate, so be careful. I understand that. I just think you have to do something. If you can give me an alternative that works, other than making it more punitive, I'd rock with that. Sharina says she's neutral. I know you are, sis. I know you are. Oh man. Sean Mo, what it do, homie? You got me, Sean? Can you hear me? Oh, I don't have him turned up for TR to start getting on my flip phone.
Right.
Sean Moore, what's good with you, bro? Oh, I missed his call. I guess it dropped. I tried to answer it, Sean. Don't get mad.
Kev.
Right. Damn. Damn, Kev. It's all good. He'll call back. Let me see.
He'll call back.
Turn your device down, Sean. Deion James said, I know people that were defending their family and caught a felony on some BS and got swept up with truth in sentencing. Okay. I would have to know the specific circumstances, but okay. Defending their family. Byron says, street niggas are real niggas. You and I know that That ninja wasn't shot. So you saying the young brother didn't get shot? Who are you saying wasn't shot, B? Let me see. He
Oh,
took.
he wasn't shit.
Oh, it wasn't shit.
He wasn't
Oh,
shit.
he wasn't. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Okay, there it is. Take a little time, right? Take a little
Yeah, right. We
time.
gotta get this together. So
Right. And
he
that
wasn't
ain't on me. That's on B with his
right. Said he
3
wasn't
captions,
shot.
right?
He wasn't okay.
Not shirt, shit. He
Right.
wasn't
He
shit.
wasn't shit. Okay.
Seemed
Okay.
like it's Crown Royal involved. Oh, that's all I'm saying. He said, B said, why are you involved in crime? Fuck off. Okay. Keaton Rice, my brother, man.
But listen, man, it sounds funny what he's saying, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? I was just talking a little while ago, man, about accountability.
Right.
And that's what it is. So I get where he's coming from with it. You know what I mean? Like I just said a little while ago, if you live in a certain type of lifestyle, man, you got to expect certain shit to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome perspective.
I ain't saying, and I, like I say, when a man's life get taken, you know what I mean? I feel like it's never worth it. You know what I mean? But again, you know what I mean? The decisions we make with our life determines the outcome.
Right.
A lot of times you reap what you sow. Shout out to Keaton Gerard. He's my brother K Rice. Hey man, tell your brother happy birthday too, man. That's a good dude. It's always Dame. That's a good dude, man. Happy birthday, my brother. Man, I kicked it when they had Club DeVille. Me and him used to kick it, man. That's my partner. He said discretion and misjudgment with law enforcement is where a lot of these issues begin. Yeah, it's the issues we have with law enforcement is very, very precarious. That's why I'm having this conversation because we know there's some sentiments coming out of our community that are like, fuck that cop. And then there's some that say, fuck that little badass boy. So it's almost like once again, it's something that's divisive.
I understand
Oh,
both.
let me see.
I
Sharina Lynette said they chase dude real far. Sometimes when you get to a part of the city, call for backup on that side of the city. Was it a chase? B just said they traced the cell phone. It sounded like they were going to get him. It didn't sound like there was a chase. Was there a chase? I don't know. And he made it a long way if he made it from the northwest side. But he had done the robbery. They traced the phone. So they weren't in essence chasing him. John Fletcher said, why did they take the officer to the funeral home so quick? Just a question. Sean Mo, what it do, man? What's going on?
What's happening, Courtney?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, baby. Dr. Carter, Dr. Real, what it do?
Peace.
What up, Sean?
Listen, man, I got a couple comments, questions, statements, whatever the hell you want to call it. First, right now, you can get a witness witness a murder and they don't react like that. But somebody got robbed for a cell phone and within minutes you own them, and I want to know what was in that cell phone and who the fuck did it belong to. Second, I'm gonna take y'all back a couple decades, man, to Antonio McAfee and his case, which they trying to get back in court. It's a known fact that the police shot the other policeman. You know what I mean?
I remember that.
I don't want to say that he didn't shoot the police. I don't want to say that he did because I wasn't there. But to pass judgment on that little brother before we find out, and we know that they're going to demonize him regardless coming out the gate. So before we start passing judgment, man, why don't we wait a second? You know, see if they release the video, some witnesses, something.
Okay.
Before we just say that, you know, dude did this shit. We don't know what happened.
Well, see, then there's always a group of us when we say, well, let's wait. They say, man, see, that's the problem. You niggas always waiting. Y'all always willing to wait. It's some bullshit. Let's ride out. I'm not saying that energy is not justified in a lot of issues because keep in mind, we're coming off this Tyree Nichols thing. Ain't that his name?
Yeah.
So let me take you back to Dontre, because people jumped the gun in, and a lot of people didn't find out he had a son till they got the settlement.
Okay.
There was a lot of lies told around there, you know what I mean, that people just ran with because of the moment, right? We in the heat of the moment. Oh, this sounds like something that needs some justice. Okay, yeah. Justice is needed, but so is the truth.
Right.
Before we can pursue justice, we have to pursue the truth so that we can get to justice. And oftentimes, man, we allow our emotions to take over, and we can't keep doing that. We can't keep doing that. Shit, that's just ammunition for them.
Yeah, I because I'm going to talk about something that's going on in Milwaukee under our nose that a lot of people don't understand, maybe, or they haven't called it out yet. There are several large companies, Fortune 500 companies, corporations coming here to establish their headquarters here right now. And so once these jobs come back in, people are not the people who have these jobs are not going to want to drive from Oconomowoc or McGuanago or wherever they're from to work there. So then that means they're going to move to Milwaukee. If you remember, there was a goal. There has been in place a goal for a long time, and I do believe Mayor Johnson referenced this in his acceptance speech that he wanted to get Milwaukee back to 1 million people. Right? I don't think he was talking about a bunch of poor black folks from the South, like what happened last time. We got a mass infusion, mass pilgrimage to Milwaukee. So then that means gentrification, as usual, cometh, right? And we have to look at the justification for what they are about to do to remove us from the community. They're dangerous. Look at their kids are dangerous. They'll kill cops. You got to do something about it.
Their leadership can't lead. They're lying. Listen, man, we got all this black leadership, and everything is going to shit, right? And they not saying nothing about it. They just letting them lead the city into the ground so that they can do exactly what you said that they gonna do. I've been telling people, KB, shit, this ain't no secret, man.
Yeah, I want black people to be informed.
Think about it, Milwaukee is the fastest growing place for millionaires, and they ain't talking about black ones.
And look at the ramp up.
So that's why gentrification gonna work right there. It's a financial thing.
Yes, it's prime real estate. The north side is prime real estate.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they gonna make
it ain't the crime. It ain't the crime. They gonna weed all the people that's committing the crime out just because they ain't gonna be able to afford to stay there.
Yeah,
that's what you do. Yeah,
they close that part over here.
Y'all not looking at it. Check this out. All these people that's getting locked up, right? These are somebody's kids, right? A lot of these people, grandparents and parents, do own some property. Who they gonna leave it to if their son got 60 years?
Well, shit, if they gonna be able to pay the taxes the way they jacking them up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not gonna be affordable. Courtney, was you about to say something? I feel like you.
Pretty much they bring people in and pushing us out further and further. You see that they closed that Walmart over here, and it's like, so where the fuck niggas finna shop at? Closing this Walmart.
All of that's encapsulated in what we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you, Juice Lady. Thank you.
I be trying.
That's a good segue.
Courtney smart.
Right. And people like her.
Hey, to go back to that situation, when I was speaking on the young brother, I wasn't trying to say he was guilty of the crime or what they was looking for or nothing. You know what I mean? I was just talking about the lifestyle that they speak of. That's why I said if you live a certain type of lifestyle, certain things can happen. You know what I mean? And we have to understand this so we can start to take accountability of our own actions.
Yeah, it starts at home. Yeah. Sharina says the little heavy trying to get to the White House. I think she mean little Chevy. Trying to get to the White House, he was groomed to be in this role. Yeah, we know that. That was directly an alley-oop from the Democrats. The black, they want black voters, so they'll put a candidate in front of you and say, look, we like you guys, right? Even though a lot of times, if you look behind the podium, there's a hand inserted firmly into the anus of the candidate, and he or she operates as a puppet. I know that was an ugly metaphor, but
so you said Chevy got a hand up his ass.
I think every black politician that we have in this city right now is compromised. I do believe that. And just because I understand the nature of lobbyists and special interest groups,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand Nation Consulting, and I understand, I understand Craig Peterson's role with making sure that all black politicians have quote unquote what they need. But I agree with my sister. Yeah, I believe he was groomed to be something. I think it's the governor. I don't think it's the White House. Um, Byron said, "Where's your plan? Niggas won't talk to the police, but won't results again. Fuck off." Okay, okay,
I got a plan. Yeah, I got a plan.
okay.
So you don't necessarily need the police for everything, man. You know, this falls on us once again. You know, yeah, these young cats got cousins and uncles, but they also got other men in these communities, man. And a lot of times, us as men, we fail to take on the responsibility of being men, which means confronting people about the damage that they doing to our people and our community. That's men's job in the community, and it used to be the men's primary role in the black community to protect that community, to protect these sisters, to protect these kids. No, but no, we sit back on the couch and we pass judgment. You know what I mean, we come on the radio and we say this, we say that, but where's the action, right? What are you putting forth? There are plans. Some people do got plans.
Okay. Vince said he's driving. He said he's been knocking on doors. He's been seeing signs with 414 Life on it, with resources. I'll get you a copy of it. No, I can get on there. My intention is to get on their mailing list, but I appreciate that, Vince. And I'm talking about even like I'm looking at the city and what's offered in terms of services and stuff like that. But when we were so hyped and so happy because we had the Black Seven, all this black leadership, and one side of the room thought, okay, these brothers finna get to making change after change, and the other side said they all Uncle Toms, like they're not gonna get anything done. They all step and fetch it, affable Negroes. K. Wright said it's too many gray areas where they're making terrible decisions and it's costing lives, too many lives.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. In terms of plans, I would say so you say people who call in and criticize don't have plans. I think we should be asking the people who are in office right now what their plan is. Like, because I feel like we turning on each other.
Matters.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but this is what I'm saying, man. Okay. We know that we have leadership that's failing. We have failed leadership, right?
Yes.
And those that continue to vote them in, okay, all right, y'all keep voting them in. No problem. Y'all keep on voting in because y'all must like what the fuck y'all get, right? If we can't motivate people to get out and vote, I'm sure, man, somebody told me 7 years ago, if I can get 10 men to walk with me daily, we could change the city. You know what I mean? I still ain't got them 10 either. I believe that a lot of these problems in our community, man, can be absolved if men take on the role of men again, right? Bro, you got women out here harder than men.
Yeah.
You got women out here making decisions and they men sitting at home being females.
Yeah, but Sean, I think that's an idealistic perspective, but I look at this from more of a hard economic perspective because brothers got to be able to get affable. They have to be able to get real employment, right? You can't you in order for you to be in that house and be a man, you got to be able to take care of your family. And the
Yes, sir.
economic disparities here are what I'm pointing at. So let me T.
Okay.
Usher said we supposed to uphold a criminal because he is black. I'm not doing it. Fuck him. Kobe said if everyone in the city get life insurance, this type of shit would stop. Police are here to protect property. TR she said you and Sean Moore need to get better flip phones. I'm cool. I'm not
I
even
ain't
on
got no damn flip phone.
right. She kills me with that.
KB badass connection.
KB got a state of the art hookup. There's no phone involved. Mama Jenkins, she said, yes, we are in trouble in this city. The leadership is corrupt and continue to let motherfuckers continue to create havoc in the communities. Like the guy was saying, let's wait and see. But his mom needs to be all over these bastards' asses. getting information as soon as possible. From past experience, they love to talk about a person's past criminal record. The reports are not going to measure up. The mayor, OVP, and the chief was uniformed when they were speaking. Yes, they got a plan. It's all a team. It's all a team. JoJo, what it do, man? JoJo, I'm on your order, man. JoJo ordered a big order of Outlaw Radio apparel. I got to get it to him. He said, "What's up, Outlaw Radio? Peace and love. Hey, with all the shots that were fired, who's to say his own scary ass partner didn't shoot his own partner?
Damn.
Go pick his ass up the next day, chasing the motherfucker in the dark gangways. Yes, shots gonna spark. That boy was scared also. Okay, that's what we're saying. And with black people, we know that our relationship with law enforcement is very precarious, and that's why we say, hey man, let's what is this? We refuse to just jump to conclusions and believe what we're told, right? The mainstream media time and time again has served our oppressors more than it served us. And we know misinformation is one of the most detrimental things going on in our community. Dion said there's no way to fight this crime because it's not organized crime. It's individuals out here committing crimes and doing some BS. Sharina said criminals get caught up and sometimes stuff happens. Okay, so shit happens, she said. She said he had pics with guns. Yeah, it's not looking, it's looking like he was on something else. It's looking like this was a youngster who was out here really involved on the wrong side of things. And like Kamar says, a lot of times your lifestyle will dictate where you end up at. They say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Dion said you can't be everywhere all the time. K Rice said will do. Okay. I'm just trying to go through the chat room. Where are the parents? They don't know you're shorty out. They don't know they shorties out in the street. The parents, the parenting. Where is the parenting? 19 years old, armed robberies on social media with guns out here, willing allegedly to shoot it out with the police. Where or what in the hell is going on with black parenting in Milwaukee right now? How have we lost our children so dramatically? Like, I feel like my generation really, really, really has dropped the ball with parenting, right? Like, and even mentoring, and like Sean said, men in the community. I get that level of it. I get that level of it. So I understand what Sean is saying about, how the community would function if there were more men present. But the reality is that we're not, because we refuse to boycott the prisons, man. I don't know how you right now get involved in certain things and then turn around and say, well, I didn't know no better when you get time, because the same shit been going on. Like right now, to get caught with some dope, like that's, go to jailology 101. I know if I get caught, I'm going to jail. How do you get caught? Say, I didn't know. Nobody never told me, bro. How you didn't know? Why was you sneaking in the first place? You wasn't walking around in it wasn't something that you was doing. You was trying to get away with it. I guess that's what I'm saying. Dion says the more police you have patrolling these communities, people who don't break laws end up having encounters with them. And that's one of the issues that we, as individuals who are trying to build up the community, should have with individuals who have this lifestyle. You're going to get all of us fucked up with your bullshit. That's another perspective we should have. And so that's why I frown upon people who try to like really make, I say I believed in a youth prison. I said, let's get it. Let's lock them up. Start locking them up. Make the laws tougher. Because you know what? Ultimately, that's what really kind of assuaded the crack epidemic. Once the mandatory minimums got serious and they start really banging and truth in sentencing behind that, it went down. It's still here, but it has nowhere near the impact that it once had in our community. Once again, they should have gone back and fine-tuned it after a certain point, but they didn't, and it created, kind of like an overflow. But there's been some things done where Obama and Trump pardoned a lot of people, right? Who you thought would never come home. So I don't agree with over policing either. I don't believe in. I don't like that either. Dion, I'm with you on that regard. Byron said they surveilled him to the south side. Right. Okay, we get that. It wasn't a chase. They found him through the phone. But man, I'd like to know what the approach was. Said that's like reckless driving. I know experiences here. Everyone on here don't be driving the speed limit because I know I be rolling and I have a CDL and insurance on all my vehicles. Yeah, but I don't. It's not reckless. I know. First of all, I can drive, but I don't speed up in that regard. I'm very very responsible. I'm not baselining and doing 90 and racing. When I need to speed up, I might get to 60. Flying
Shit,
down Capitol or something. Ain't no, and even
Shit,
then,
I've
it's
been
only
told I
certain
drive like an
streets.
old man.
I ain't in no rush to get nowhere. Shit, I'm
Straight
important
up.
enough that motherfuckers gonna wait. That's how that
Mm-hmm.
go.
Right. I ain't gonna lie though. I'll get, if I gotta, I'll do it. But I
Shit,
ain't,
not in Milwaukee, man. Now I look both ways before I go through the green light.
you
Like,
take an extra second.
yeah, I take an extra two because motherfuckers ain't got no sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Serena, that's the question. Was he shot by another officer? Was he shot by his partner? Did he shoot
And
himself?
that's probable.
Did he shoot himself on accident in the struggle, trying to shoot the young brother? And this will all come out, or something will come out. We don't know exactly what it'll be. And I think that's why we are kind of like pontificating on it right now. Dion said they probably was white. Who was white? Who was white? Who was white? I think
The cop was white.
the cop was white, yeah, for sure. Courtney said check out Alkies at the black market this Sunday at Discovery World. She said she'll be there because I think she had to step away. So she's saying come on down to Discovery World at the Black Makers Market. So she'll be down there. Shout out to Courtney. Police negligence. We'll see, Sharina. Byron said niggas is known for killing cops in Milwaukee. When y'all get finished, are we? Is that what we known for? B? Is that what we're known for? Because for a long time I thought it was the other way around. I thought cops
Yeah,
here were known
that's
for
what I
killing
thought. I
black
know
people.
about more. I know about more cops
Yeah, they
killing
got us
black people.
outnumbered.
I hear about more cops killing niggas than niggas killing cops.
Yeah.
Me too, shit.
Well, they said five officers have been killed in the line of duty in Milwaukee since 2018. How many
How many
individuals?
niggas
How
got
many?
killed?
How many
So
individuals have been? How many black males have been killed by cops since 2018? Is it less than 5 or is it greater than 5? I don't know. I'd like to know. Somebody do the research. He said cops are known for killing niggers in Milwaukee. Byron is crazy, man. Byron, you all over the place like bird shit. Serena said trying to shoot Mr. Thomas, they shot both. I heard there was 20 shots. 20? Was it 20 shots between these two? Or was it the cop shooting at the man? Wow. Did they come for the brother like that? And he said, man, did they come that way? That's what I'd like
if
to
there
know.
were 20, if there were 20 shots fired, right? That wasn't just about no phone. That was not just about no phone, man. You know, I may be assuming some shit, right? Well, I'm not assuming. I'm just gonna put it out here. If the sister is correct, right? Yeah, his mama needs to request that autopsy ASAP because we need to know what bullet belonged to what gun.
Yeah, that's what's gonna
What
take
bullet belonged?
time. That's what's gonna take time because you got a crime scene.
Hey,
You got
look, and I bet you they don't be as quick as they was with the black police that killed the dude.
there's that
They
speculation.
left footage out.
There's that
What's that?
speculation that he's saying
What's that?
they hurry up and acted on the Tyree Nichols because with 5 black officers, they jumped down on that and got that solved real quick. But do they, Kamar?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were still investigating that as well.
Well, I mean, but they out here. They got all kind of information out here already. They let the footage out and all that shit. But whenever it's the police doing something, the police got something to do with something, we gotta wait a fucking year.
There's that.
And you know what?
What's that?
We need to really dig into that question, man, that was asked earlier. Why did they take his body to the funeral home so quick?
There's a ceremonial thing with the procession and all of that kind of stuff because
Okay.
you see the long procession and they have to kind of stand at attention. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the speed of expediting his body to the funeral home.
I may be wrong, but I don't remember when they've done that any other time, though, KB.
They do it all the time. I just don't know how fast or quickly they do it. But check
I
this
know
out.
they do the procession, but right the same day that they get killed,
Was his body even
before
in
an
there?
autopsy or anything,
Was his body
they
even in there though, Sean? Like that. Once again,
that's
that could have just
that's
been
what the news
ceremonial.
said.
Okay.
The news said they carried the body to cross it.
Yeah, of course the news says that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending them, or saying
Right.
I don't know. This is that's a question that a lot of people have said. Why was his body moved so fast? Like why is this? But we want things to be expedited, so we can't turn around and say, no, we don't want to wait. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Black people are
that's
complicated.
part of the expedition. That's part of the process, though.
Uh,
Think about it. To put facts out there, transparency, right? We need to know these facts.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of
How many
autopsy
times
was
was it
done? Because you would need to do a thorough autopsy to see, bullet wounds and angles and
Yeah,
trajectories and stuff like that. So, yeah. That's why black people we be like, that's bullshit most of the time. Byron says Facebook keeps flagging his posts. Yeah, because you keep saying nigger and stuff like that, Byron. That's why they do it. It's in the algorithm.
you said what?
His post, he's like, kill niggers and nigger this and nigger that. That's an algorithm. They're gonna jump anytime anybody does that
They're gonna
on
block
the
the shit
show.
out of.
They jump on you. They jump down. They jump on you, as Cream Corn said in Black Dynamite. Yeah, you got to be careful. Hell, Serena said, hell no, ousting blacks out. I think she's referring to us talking about gentrification. Mama Jenkins said that's right. I do believe that he was shot more than once. And again, where did those bullet wounds enter his body? Have we been able to decipher what caliber, whose handgun, angles? You have to
Exactly.
compare. There's forensic evidence. This is supposed to be done on many different levels. I just think the news is very careful at, they give you just enough to keep you watching. The people who are in charge are very careful. They understand PR. They understand how to deal with the media. I don't know if you've ever worked anywhere where there was some kind of controversy and the order came down very early, like, do not talk to police if you see them here today. I worked at St. Charles where there was always some kind of fuddy going on with somebody on one of the units. So St. Charles would have a code like, hey, they don't talk to no police if you see, or news people. If you see them around here, don't talk to nobody because we have a PR department handling it. Brother, right, but my brother Keaton, he said, brother, speaking real shit, we react as a community to the climate and not the individual matters at hand. Yeah, man, emotion. Man, we got to learn how to manage our emotions better. That's why we end up going at each other. Because I don't like what the fuck you said, right? I'm looking at this right now with this whole Jay Prince thing, because there's been a back and forth with Jay Prince. And once again, I live in the podverse. Him with this Migos thing with the death of the brother Takeoff. We're going to talk about that as well. Byron Terry said they've been driving 30 miles to get to Milwaukee for work. Well, there's no residency requirement anymore. Talking about gentrification, yes, that's what they will do, Serena, is tax you. Once they raise those property taxes to a certain point, you're going to say, man, it just ain't worth it no more. And you'll leave, right? B said, I'm glad you ninjas are paying attention. Dion said his taxes went up $1,000 since he moved in there. Yeah, man, you got to pay to play. They make sure. Last year, there was a super, like people had 80% increases in property tax values. Now, they say, well, there's deficits and this and that, but then they say, well, we got $100 million in COVID relief money, right? Then they say, well, Milwaukee, the budget is off, and so it justifies us, because the property tax levy, if you understand how the city works, is a major component to our city budget. So that money that you get from property taxes, homeowners, really drives the bus in terms of a lot of things budgetarily in the city. She said they're about to build another Northwestern next to the other one downtown. They shutting down the one in Franklin. Listen, the buildup was great. The buildup was great because you've seen, and we even questioned this. What was it? National Geographic that came out and said Milwaukee was one of the most desirable destinations. Remember, Kamar, when we was talking about that, we like, really? Like, what are they looking at? But it makes sense now. With the redeveloped downtown, you look at the north side, right on the expressway. The lake is right there. summertime festivals, beautiful suburban communities. There's all kind of nature. We're still a state that really has a lot of. We have big parks. There's and white people are saying, man, you know what? We ran off and left the top shit when they passed open housing. We moved out to something that used to be a little subdivision, and we done had to deal with the development of a sewage system. How we gonna get clean water? Setting up our municipalities. We should have stayed where we was. We should have stayed where we were in the neighborhoods. And so now all these large corporate and look, I'm glad, to be honest with you. I'm glad large corporations are coming back here. I'm glad there's going to be jobs. I'm glad that there's going to be high paying jobs. My problem is how many of us are going to be the recipients of those jobs? Because we know a lot of brothers work downtown, but it ain't a lot of brothers on the upper floors. It's some, but it ain't a lot. Most brothers is securing and cleaning and parking. Shout out to you if you're doing that. You got to do what you got to do. Juice Lady, you stay by me because I stay by the Walmart. That's about to be the former Walmart. She said, yeah, she does call the mayor heavy. That's what she calls him, little heavy. Okay, Serena. Yeah, we call him Barack .0.2 because he's not even. He's a little pint-sized wannabe Barack. BT says facts. He says, you and I have someone we owe. I mean, I think everybody owes somebody. I hear people bragging about their credit. All y'all know somebody. Owe somebody. Tiasha said, wow, they not too long ago opened the one in Franklin and they built another one downtown. Well, they have a super skyscraper downtown. And they're about to build another one. I see Milwaukee Tools has relocated to downtown. They have a timber company, a company that's building a wooden facility. It says it's going to be like the tallest timber structure in the country. That waterfront along that river downtown is being developed as you speak.
Right.
We're going to sleep at the wheel. You got to get your money up. You got to get your money up, right? You're going to have to be able to pay to play. Yasha said, oh, no, I read that one. Keaton, he says they've been positioning themselves for taking over the inner city for 30 plus years.
Right.
If you follow them back, you understand Milwaukee, you know that Mayor Norquist, that was one of his things. He felt like that this should be that was the way to it, is to take the city back.
My granddad used to say it all the time. He used to drive the bus. He used to drive the 62. And he said they was moving us all to the outskirts so that if something jump off, they just stop the bus line. And then we be stuck out there.
Yeah, and it's, the way you box poor people in now, geographically, the way the city is set up for poor people, we understand redlining historically and things of that nature. Yeah, that's what you're going to do, but you're just going to have them far out. And then you got them. We really got you now.
Hey, it's like that in Memphis, if I remember correctly. Like, you know what I mean? Everywhere you go, you got to get on the highway too. So if they stop the bus lines, it's a wrap.
Yeah, they got you out there. They got you out. It's easy. Where you running now? You ain't running all through the neighborhood, ducking through alleys and all that shit now.
Right.
Yeah, you run across that cornfield, we're going to catch your ass. Serena said OVP cannot stop crime. There will always be crime. What needs to happen is educating our young people on what is happening and why the justice system is not for us. And us as a race of people have to get together and stop killing your own. That is so hard to do. Obviously, it's very hard to do. She said, no disrespect, Sean Moore. I'm putting my life in the hands of the people in these neighborhoods. You see how the guys stand around. She said she's not putting her life in the hands of these people in these neighborhoods. You see how the guys stand around and watch a woman get beat down? They won't even break it up. Oh, stinger to the brothers. Yeah, brothers be holding cameras now. They don't even break up fights.
Baby, listen, I ain't mad at you because I ain't gonna stand around and trust me. Shit. That's the problem, though. You know what I mean? I got a problem with that because I should be able to. You should be able to.
Byron said,
I jumped out. Hey, I pulled over and jumped out and tried to help a sister, right? I broke him up, but as soon as I got the brother to walk away peacefully,
she got mad at you
on his back.
Okay. At least she ain't trying to fight you for stopping the nigga from fighting her.
I'm just saying, though. I got him off her ass because he was whooping her ass.
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
see.
So
I've
now he
seen that
walking
before.
away, and she get mad now because he leaving, and when Brandon jumped on his back, like, it's running off for you.
Byron says
Man.
they'll match up the bullets. Well, I thought that was part of what they do. I feel like you can tell one caliber slug from another. I feel like
Man,
through ballistics, if you have his gun and you have the officer's gun, through the striations that the barrel leaves on the slug, you can match what bullet came from what gun.
Hey, hey, and one more thing on that same subject, right?
Yeah.
At what point do we get into that mess? But we got our whole family to get home to.
Right.
Okay.
You did what I'm saying? Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
fine line. Before you start shitting on brothers for not breaking something up, you got to think they got a whole family that they got to go home and protect.
Yeah. It
I
can be.
mean,
And
there's
then
no.
and like I said, I stop and break some shit up, and his sister won't even let the brother walk away.
There's no black or white with it. I mean, I guess everybody can feel how they feel about it, but it ain't one of them black and white things. Just like you said, there's so many variables.
Yeah.
You just like you broke it up and she went and kicked it back off. Now, are you obligated to get him off her ass again?
Right.
I,
You
I've
know what I'm
I've
saying?
I've
So
seen
like,
people try to break up the fight and the girl get mad and now they jumping the dude because don't hit my man type shit. Just all kind of shit. So or just in Milwaukee now, man, we gotta be real. I mean, shit, nowadays women walk a different line than average women. Like sometimes you will find out that a girl that got hopped on, set up somebody or robbed somebody, or is just as gully as these nothing ass niggas out here. So, why are you as a family man, as a person who has people at home that you're responsible to and obligated to provide for? Why would you roll that dice knowing all the variables nowadays? Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody hollering help or some shit, then by all means, I'm gonna do what I can. I've done that before and had a gun pulled on me at the gas station.
right.
But nowadays, man, it ain't no black and white macho man.
Oh, you really got to.
What
You really
Richard
got to.
Pryor say?
That
Macho
individual
man.
really has. That individual really got to weigh his options.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
mean, you really
Byron
got to
says,
weigh your options.
he says,
How
Kevin,
far do
you
you
had
go?
fun. You got your ass whooped at home, but you fronted in front of the homeboys and homegirls. I disagree with you, B, because anybody who knew my family and where I came from knew I got my ass whooped at the crib. I didn't even have to front. Anybody in my neighborhood would tell you Miss Barnes used to whoop ass. She done whooped our ass outside before. I couldn't front at all. Like, you know what I mean? So I definitely, I tell anybody. And even back when I was little, a lot of shit I mean when I was younger, a lot of shit I wouldn't do because I'd be like, Miles will beat the shit out of me.
Right,
But
right.
once I became a young man, right? Because we got to a point where my mother knew hitting me with a belt wasn't gonna hurt me no more. And she dealt with me differently. So it wasn't really about I'm gonna whoop your ass. It was more about you supposed to know better and I'm holding you accountable. Because at the end of the day, I put your ass out my house if you don't get your
Right.
shit together, which she ultimately did when she really disagreed with the way I was living. Get the fuck out. And that's what I did. Right? You got to push them out the nest. But no, I didn't front at all. I didn't have to. I consider everybody. I didn't have people say, "Man, you better chill for Miss Barnes beat the hell out of you." Hey, man, it is what it is. I'm not gonna take no 11 o'clock ass whooping. I'm gonna take a 2:30 ass whooping. Be the real shit. Don't play with me.
I'm gonna make it worth it.
Right? Oh shit! I done broke curfew. Now I'm getting beat. There you go. Shit! I see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna survive. Right? Serena says some of these youth are very disrespectful to their parents, and parents are afraid of their own damn kids. Shout out to Dre Day. Shout out to Dre Day. Says social media is creating a fantasy that the youth feel they need or will be ostracized by their peers. Also, they are not listening to their parents because they only look up to money. That's a very good point because we've created this situation where our young people think that equality and really getting to what you need to be able to do for as a black person in this country is all about money. If I get enough money, if I ride this kind of car, if I wear these kinds of clothes, what they have to understand is that will bring you no retribution. You'll just be a dressed up nigga. You'll just be a suburban nigga. You just be a highly paid nigga. It don't change. But our youth, so I believe I like what he said there. I think the young people are kind of looking for something they're grasping for a reality that's not there. It doesn't exist. She said, when did that change, Kev? Driving? LOL. I don't know. When did my mom stop whooping my ass? I probably when I was about 14, I think. That was what a lady said. She said on the news. I don't. I lose y'all sometimes in the chat room, Serena. So you got to let me know what you're referring to. K Rice says social media is the new parents. Damn, that new drill culture is unbelievably overwhelming. Until this social media's control, it will continue. Is social media the devil? Let's talk about that. We talking about, is what's going on? Because I'm asking what's happening with parenting. Right now, what are we doing for our kids? They have a phone. I see little ass kids with phones.
Right. For my man, just I guess all I can do is speak on the perspective that I have dealing with parents. And from what I see here, man, it's a lot of kids out here that are hurt, feeling unvalued and unseen. And then, unfortunately, man, shit, this is a long one. Okay. So
I like how you prepared us. This about to be long.
Because it's deep as fuck, man. Like, because we can't as parents, we can't look at the children. We got to look at us. And once we look at us, we can begin to fix some shit that position us better. Like, I don't have a problem with my 18-year-old son or my 17-year-old son, because first off, I established a reverence and fear for me in them at an early age. And secondly, I've always understood that I are my boys to become. So some parents run the folly of trying to tell their children what to do while the children observing that parent being a shiesty ass motherfucker. Like, I mean, just even from my childhood, my parents wasn't shiesty, but just something that always resonated with me. I got a beating for lying. But then I would be made to go to the door and lie to people for my pops. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my pops was a producer. He made music, all kind of shit. And, he a Leo too. And them motherfuckers, man, they lie. They lie. They don't like people to they don't like people to dislike them. So they're gonna lie to you just to save your opinion of them. But then when it come down to it, so like, oh yeah, man, come to the house about 7 o'clock. I'll be in the studio. They show up 6:55. He derailed. Go down there and tell him I'm asleep. It's like, God damn it. So as a child, that resonates with you because you're demanding me to be of a certain substance that you yourself can't provide an example for.
Okay.
So
okay.
I mean, my pops dope in other areas, but that's just one area that resonated. But what we can do is control ourselves, and a lot of us have to examine ourselves and make sure we exemplify what we want our children to be, and that we present ourselves above reproach of our children. Like, I don't lie to my children. If I fuck up, I apologize to my children and explain where I zig, where I should have zagged, just so I can be an example of responsibility and accountability. You know what I'm saying? But every parent don't walk that line, and some of these kids can't respect their parents because they see their parents being gully motherfuckers with other people. They see their parents running up on the plug or lying to people, hitting women, all this shit. And then what's wrong with the kids? Their parents ain't shit.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, my bad, Kevin. Let me add on to that. I got a couple young brothers who I be talking to, and when I talk about that, because they be talking about they ain't got no man in their family to teach them how to drive or teach them this and teach them that and all this. And I tell them, I say, listen, that right there is what you learning not to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All the stuff you don't like, all the stuff you feel like you're missing, that's something that you need to work on to build up in yourself. You know what I'm saying? And take it from there.
Right. And I love and appreciate the fuck out my pops, because out of everything he is, one of the most important things he was there to be that example of what to do when he did the right shit and what not to do when he did some shit that I didn't vibe with.
Serena says the lady on the news says she heard 20 shots. The cop was supposedly shot 9 times.
God damn.
Wow. I did not know that. Thank you for
don't the cops wear vests though?
There's another question. That was he right? What did he have on a vest? It looks very strange. Tiasha said the kid, the brother, he did a robbery the night before on Good Hope. It wasn't about a phone. They didn't take him to the funeral home. They took him to the morgue. Okay, that's what I was saying. Like I don't. Did they take him to the funeral home? I would have thought he needed a detailed autopsy. So she said the procession wasn't to the funeral home. It was to the morgue. So the body can be. So where was it at? Where did they take it from? To take it to the morgue.
So why was?
I thought the medical examiner takes you to the morgue.
The family in. I thought they walked the family in there to be with the body.
That would have been at the morgue, though, right? So
no, I was talking at the funeral. They said at the funeral. Now shit. The news could be lying, like you said. But shit, yeah, it's just I gotta research. That's all.
Yeah, I don't believe they took him to the funeral home. I think they took him to the morgue. Serena says they had to fix him up, but once again, I thought the medical examiner takes you. I thought that the medical examiner takes you to the morgue after they remove the body from the scene, and you go from there
to the
funeral home.
Nowhere. After the medical examiner releases the body, then the funeral home comes and picks the body up.
He has to take you from the scene. They have to take you from the scene to the morgue. The medical examiner does that.
Yeah.
That's what I said. So they do take you somewhere. You take your ass to the morgue and lay you on the slab.
Right.
Serena said they had to fix him up. It's a cover up. She said it sounds fishy because we don't have all the details. I think that's one of the big things. Dion said he dead. They don't need an autopsy.
That nigga dead, Kane. Come
on. Dion is a man. You're a nutty buddy. But they have to do an autopsy, Dion. You have to have a death certificate. So they have to know and keep a record of what your injuries were and be able to explain exactly what happened. I said you don't need no autopsy. Take them straight to the graveyard. She said we have to do our own first 48. Jojo, what you got popping, man? He said, Kamara Rail, I drive just like that too. No disrespect to the officer, but it's very fucking real in the field. Don't choose a motherfucker for the fame because when it go down, you're not that motherfucker you gonna lay down. He said the reason they took that officer's body to the funeral home so fast is because he had plenty bullets in him shot by his scary ass partner. Y'all think about it. Okay, JoJo. I love the passion. JoJo. It's my big homie right there, my big bro. Shout out to Miss Serena. She says she agrees. K. Rice down in Texas. He said the bodies of civilians aren't moved from the scene for hours, especially when it's a violent situation. This is definitely a PR cover-up. Yeah, we know the body stays there for a while, but once the medical examiner leaves the coroner and the medical examiner takes him to the coroner, and the coroner is in the morgue, right? At the morgue. I thought that was let's research it. If you know better, let me know.
Here's the medical examiner.
Well, no, the medical examiner and the coroner are two different people, aren't they? I don't know. We don't know enough.
The same people come and get that body.
Okay.
The same people come. It's out of the medical examiner's office, right? But the coroner, who is a medical examiner, right, does an autopsy, makes reports, all that shit, signs off on it, says this is homicide, suicide, whatever, right? That's the medical examiner, and boom, then he that motherfucking body, release it, funeral home, come and get it, boom, boom, boom. That's if he went to the funeral home that day, bullshit.
Yeah, because that don't make sense.
All that shit, you know what I mean? Throw the flag, motherfucker. Bring up the replay, however you want to call it. Super Bowl weekend, bitch. We got to see that one back. Yeah.
Mama Jenkins is giving me the information that I actually need. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. She says in Milwaukee there's been 123 deadly police shootings since the year 2000. She said I'll break it down later. I'm working on the breakdown numbers and we'll let you know. The shit is crazy. It's messy that why his mother got to go get the autopsy report right away. She needs to bring her own medical examiner to examine
Yep.
her son's body. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Tiarsha says he did a robbery the night before on Good Hope while out on bail. The officer wasn't taken to the funeral home. He went to the morgue. I thought I read that one already. Unless she repeated herself. I might be just
Yeah.
catching
Yeah.
up.
Stop repeating herself.
She said, Serena said, and we got water. You read about how Arizona is on water restrictions. Hold on, let's wrap this up. Let me close the chat room out. Joe Walker says when the police shot me, the news and the police lied and covered up my shooting. Now that I have all the evidence, they still are lying and trying to keep it quiet. Never trust the police and the media. Never, never, ever trust the police and the media. Thank you, Joe. I know, and Joe has an incredible story. He's been on the show before talking about how he was shot by police officers, and the blue wall. How much of this is involved? Right. How much is involved with the blue wall? And we know they protect themselves. If you control all of the toys, you dictate the game.
Can
Serena said
add to
Serena said
very
development is the thing. Yeah, that development is crazy. Mama Jenkins said Hillside is history real soon. I believe so. And look,
Right.
as a former, I just got done working for the housing authority, and they had meetings because HUD is coming in the national, where's because the city of Milwaukee has always controlled their own housing authority. And so HUD is coming in now saying, let's start transitioning this to Section 8 and federal house owned housing. And they actually came and held meetings at Hillside about redeveloping and what people wanted to see. Like, what do you think we could put over here to improve it? It was funny because people was like, we want a pool. I was like, man, black people are crazy as hell, man. They were saying we want a pool. It was crazy. Byron said 62 is the Capitol Drive route. Notice how Capitol Drive is one of the most dangerous thoroughfares in Milwaukee. I love Capitol Drive, man. Give it up for Capitol
My
Drive.
granddaddy drove that
yeah, y'all
62.
it ain't that
I'm
What you say, Sean?
over there. Uh, can I add to the conspiracy theory right quick? I don't know if y'all viewed it or not, but there's a picture with the police standing around that boy's picture, right? And how everybody in the picture is holding their arms, how their hands are crossed identically.
I've seen that picture.
Did you even notice that?
I didn't examine it. I seen it. I just thought it was kind of it all happened so fast. So I'm like, when did they do this? But I didn't look at it for detail. You said they're crossed. They are they standing in some sort of formation?
Every one of them officers are standing there with their right with their left hand over their right hand, and his hand at their waistline.
Is that significant of something? I don't know. I don't know. What does that mean?
You tell me.
I don't know. I'm not a cop. I don't know.
Is that part of their fraternal brotherhood? Is that something that they do when they fellow officers die?
Byron, you tell us.
Is it something just in Milwaukee?
Byron was former law enforcement. Byron, you tell us, is that something? Is there rituals? Tell us the process here, Byron. Joe Walker said them dumbass cops probably shot each other. Dion said, I'm not helping nobody people get killed. I'm not helping nobody people get killed like that. Serena said that is good parenting. Spare the rod, spoil a child. I don't know. Take a little rod. Take a little rod. Take a little rod. Joey's backing me up. He said, facts. Mama Barnes played no games. Fuck up, and you got those hands. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man. People, listen, man. I was bad in spite of getting my ass beat, not because I didn't get my ass beat. I got a lot of ass whoopings because I was mischievous. So my mother's like, yeah, you know how I deal with you. Come on over here. So yeah, JoJo lived right down the street, man. My whole life, me and his brother lived probably 7 houses away from each other. So he saw me from 6 years old up. just getting, man, you fuck up, you fuck up. My mama just instant justice. I say this all the time. She'd say, well, why you whip his ass in the store? That's where he fucked up at. If you fuck up in public, you get fucked up in public. That's what my mother used to say. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, thank you for telling me. Mama Jenkins said, Kev, that's when the bats and guns come out. Your ass get out of my fucking house. I think she's talking about when my mama put me out when I got too big, when I got too old to
Yeah.
get an ass whooping. Yeah, it was definitely that. She's like, I ain't finna. What you think I'm finna wrestle with you? No. I was a young stud, young college football player coming home swole off the weights. She's like, no, you just get out. Damn. Okay. Serena said, parenting. I can count on one hand when I got whooped, but my father was the disciplinarian. My mother only had to say, I'm telling your father, and I straightened up. Bless her soul. Still to this day, my father gets respect, and I value his words and direction, in which nowadays he listens. He just listens since he's a senior. Yeah, man. Man, we just talked about being able to talk to somebody who's from a different generation who knows. I think respect was ingrained in us a little bit more than it is now. We had a little bit more boundaries. Kids don't have the same boundaries no more now because their parents' boundaries have increased. So, like, if we was somewhere cussing in front of an old person, they say, "Ooh, we young man, you need to watch your mouth." You say, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am." These kids now be like, "Bitch, shut your ass up."
Yep.
That's where we learn to lie to the bill collectors and the people on the phones for our parents. She's talking about what Rail said. They taught us to lie, but you better not have lied to them. We call it double standards. Yeah, you heard that. You do as I say, not what I do. She said, they said he was a task force officer. I didn't know we still had a task force here. No, they took him to Krause's funeral home with a guard standing by 24/7. Okay, is that a police procedure thing where the autopsy will be done there? That's a good point. People have pointed out that quickly he went to the funeral home. She said they took him to Krause funeral home. Okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Tiasha said, remember they did the police parade to the morgue. Okay, so see, I gotta go and we gotta get the whole timeline because the parade was to the morgue. Was there another parade to take him to the funeral home? I mean, I don't know. Byron said they don't treat cops like you. Okay. Sonia Thrower, how you
You know,
doing, my sister? Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio, Blue Blood. Cop
Peace.
gets Scarface said, "Cop got you. Want to blame it on my occupation? If you don't dig me, the nigga you can sue me because the shit that I be saying ain't worse than no Western movie. Don't blame me, blame your man Gotti, so you can feel the
To
hand of
the
the
hand
dead
of the dead body.
body." Oh, I love Scarface, man.
Hanging on the man,
Oh man.
so these
K. Rice,
niggas
medical examiner
roll.
does the autopsy basically to determine cause of death. Then they release it to the funeral home. That's always been the process. Okay. Peace for that. Tiasha said you was repeating yourself with your flip phone. I understand. Could have been my fault. I fuck up sometime from time to time. You feel me? She said, K. Rice said, I know. And for a while in Milwaukee, they were using EMs to transport and not the coroners to the morgue. Did they go back to using the coroners again? I wouldn't know. I don't know, K. Rice, to be honest with you. I really don't know. Mama Jenkins said he went yesterday right away to the funeral home in Brookfield, and his body is guarded by cops 24/7 until the funeral day. Okay. I didn't see the photo, but there's a brotherhood in law enforcement, no different than gang. That's what Byron Terry said in regards to the
this what it,
picture.
hey, I pulled it up, KB.
Okay. He said you
It,
either a
it,
cop or a robber. Go ahead, Sean.
it says flashing blue and red lights could be seen from miles away as dozens of police squad cars escorted the body of fallen Milwaukee police officer Peter Gervin. The 20-mile procession ended at Krause's funeral home on Tuesday. His family walked beside the casket hand in hand.
Okay. So they did take him to the. So they must have stayed up overnight. Maybe they expedited the process because he was a cop.
When did he get shot?
Uh,
Tuesday, right?
Tuesday. Yeah. Late
And
Tuesday,
that's when
early
they took
Wednesday.
him Tuesday.
Uh.
That's when they took him to. It says on Tuesday, his family walked beside his casket hand in hand. They took him Tuesday.
Okay.
They didn't take him Wednesday. He got shot Tuesday. Well, he
Well, he
got
got
killed
shot late
Tuesday. They took
Monday night, early Tuesday morning. I thought it was. 'Cause it was after we got off the air. So,
right.
uh, Byron Terry says autopsies are done at the medical examiner's office or the hospital. Once done, the body is turned over to the funeral home if you have money to bury your loved one. Um, Serena said, "Why would a 19-year-old shoot him 9 times? He was scared, and I'd like to know what gun he had." Uh, don't go fund me, Ninja. That includes your children. That's what B says. She said, "Oh, I saw that on breaking news on her phone. Yeah, my sister Sonia Throwers. She's in Arkansas. I said Arizona the other night because she had AR. Believe me, my daughter's been dissing me ever since. Like, Dad, you gotta be careful." Um, Byron said we saw the two processions. Okay, so check this out. I want to know how y'all feel about this Walmart on the west side here on Silver Spring closing now. So they just announced that they're gonna close this down in March. Um, we got the hole in Midtown, right? And
Right.
I don't know if the people who own this strip out here will do a better job of getting another business in there. But it's something to be said about how Walmart comes into communities and destroys mom and pop businesses and then leaves the community and leaves a hole in the community. Um, but I don't know. Is this a case of just super ratchetness? Because you know that Walmart has
That's
had.
what I think is more of. I think it's
Okay.
more super ratchetness. Cause shit, man, they closing because motherfuckers stealing.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the ultimate thing. And a lot of it is the employees that's doing the stealing.
I know that was the
Right.
case in Midtown, but I don't. I mean, but so many
That's
people.
gotta, man, that's gotta be a Walmart thing.
Well,
Shit.
you go to Walmart on Saturday. It's there's everything is sold out. So it's not that they're not making a profit. I can't believe that the
Shit, that's
theft
because they
would
done
outweigh the
stole
profit they
everything.
make. Say what?
They done stole everything.
I don't.
Most of the shit. So it's sold out. It appears to be sold out.
There a long time ago, I seen a story about a small town. I think it was in Indiana, and it was about how this Walmart, like this region was like really piss poor, and Walmart came in and said, we're gonna come in and we're gonna rejuvenate this area because people are gonna come from miles around to shop at Walmart, and we're gonna bring jobs, which it did. But what it also did was kill the local economy that was already there, and then the
Mm-hmm.
Walmart packed up and left.
Mm-hmm.
And so this
Yep.
town was in just disarray. It was like they had to go. I think they were out in a kind of like a really far area, and so like the nearest town was something like 50 miles away, like the nearest town next to them. So now that the smaller businesses are gone and the Walmart's gone, people really just to get grocery have to go and drive like 50 miles to get it. And they were saying how Walmart has a pattern of doing this
Mm-hmm.
throughout the country where they come, they set up, people flock to it. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then all of the local businesses can't compete, so they close down. And then Walmart leaves, and you just kind of stuck. Like so, if you're looking at Milwaukee right now, and this is something that plays into my gentrification theory about okay, I'm pretty sure once they start removing us from Midtown, that area, that neighborhood, when they get rid of enough of us, and don't get me wrong, this is aimed at the poor, but it just so happens that the majority of people of color here are poor, right? So if you're a black person, you live in that area, you're a homeowner, you say, I got my bread, I can handle the property taxes, I'm good, you're fine. Then all of a sudden, when they start replacing those citizens, Midtown will be developed expeditiously, right? And because right now, what they do is they want to funnel us to spend any real money to Brown Deer, because that's where you're gonna have to go for
Yep.
Walmart now, unless you want to go
Right.
to East Capitol, which is far from where I live. But they want me to go to Brookfield. They want me to go to Wauwatosa. They want to because they want them to be able to take advantage
Menominee
of my money,
Falls.
Menominee Falls, right?
Uh-huh.
So now I got to go spend money up there because I paid a double bubble because I paid the taxes in Milwaukee, which runs the show,
Mm-hmm.
and then I go spend a little of my money with all of the surrounding suburbs to keep them on point too. It's a
Yep.
deadly game of baseball that we caught up in right now.
Hey, I,
Mm.
I think it's just a whole, it's a circle, man. Because like the whole business of retail is to sew it up. basically, right? And that's
Uh-huh.
what Walmart come in and do. But then, you know what I mean? You got them in all these poorer communities. You know what I mean? Like shit, man, we steal shit. Our people steal. You know what I mean? And with that, when businesses lose money, you know what I'm saying? They close down. That's just what you do.
You know, the
I
crazy thing is, like, I stay right down. I stay off of like 90 something in Silver Spring, so I'm like a minute away from Walmart. So that's actually my go-to Walmart. And I was just in there with my daughter 2 days
Not no
ago.
more.
Right. That's the fucked up thing, because I was just in there with my daughter
Yeah.
like 2 days ago, and she asked me why, because they had just revamped the whole health and beauty section to where now you got to get a service clerk just to get some body wash and shit, because all of that stuff is behind plexiglass panels.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I told her, I said, well, she said, why they do this? I said, well, baby, this is like a last resort to stop loss prevention, for
Right.
loss prevention before they have to eventually shut the store down due to losses. So I just told her that 2 days ago. And then I seen the article today about them leaving. I'm like, damn, I'm renovating my spot. And that was one of my selling points one of my written points that it's in walking distance from shopping, groceries, and
right.
and
Location,
fast food.
location, location. Yeah.
Right. So, but
Um,
it's just the cycle of this shit. Like y'all said, I don't think it's as big as the goal to like shut down all mom and pop. Well, no, it could be to shut down all mom and pop stores, but I mean, brick and mortars are going away anyway. So Walmart, just like Amazon, has a big online presence now. So the goal is to have more people shipping from their warehouses due to online shopping.
Real, you just made a very valid point, and this is a conversation that I was having with my wife the other day, as I was talking about the WalMarts and stuff, and these large stores that have been stores. A lot of businesses has been shuttered since the pandemic, but like she said, online shopping is kicking their ass. She didn't say ass, I said ass. She said online shopping because what beats the convenience of me paying for it and you bringing it to my door, right? And in a
Exactly.
lot of cases, Amazon got same day delivery.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, we before we put on our paranoid hats, and I had to remind myself of that before I jumped to too many conclusions, even though I still believe that it's part of watch how fast these holes in our community get repaired once white people start moving in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, right. But you're right. Online shopping is
Right. I don't
is a
you
problem too.
I don't think they're going to become Walmarts and shit again, but they will become little coffee houses and yoga places and but
Warehouses.
little back to mom and
Whole
pop brick and
food.
mortars. Right, right. So, but otherwise, that's always been the goal, because just like any business, you want to expand your profit margin. So, getting rid of brick and mortars, now you ain't paying that overhead of lights and employees and shit like that.
Yeah, we may become a victim of our own consumer habits. That might
Exactly.
be our
It's that.
downfall
That's
because
the
we
thing.
demand, we want speed and we want convenience and we want all these things, and then that shuts certain
Exactly.
that it's like how the internet killed the porn industry. No, I'm just kidding. Um, why Mac
Hey,
Jones said, "What it
but you
do,
know
bro?"
what? You know what? Hey, I'm gonna tell you though, something big to get into is holistic shit,
Uh-huh.
right? Because see, that's what's gonna
Is
last
what?
with this whole gentrification, holistic,
Yeah.
like
Hell
this
yeah.
whole wellness demonstration, self-awareness, and all that
Yeah.
type of stuff.
Oh,
It's because you know what I mean. It's this
Uh-huh.
lifestyle that they trying to get off into. That's growing, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
if we can start creating businesses, or even start getting into it, find a way into it somehow, CBD or whatever it is,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
some investing and all that type of stuff. But this is where it's going to, man. Like you look at all the different. I was reading some or watching something on Facebook, man, and they was talking about gentrification coming when you start seeing Whole Foods in the hood. Is this the
Right,
shit they want?
Right.
right. That's what they want. That's what
Yeah,
they
that's
want.
what I'm talking about.
Juan Mac Jones said, "What it do, bro? Theft is the major issue. They can only increase prices so much to make up for the losses." My boy K Rice, he said, "It's definitely poverty stricken areas causing these closures. It's not the same in flourishing economies. They are losing more to thieves than they are selling.
Right.
Yeah, I know on Fond du Lac, boy, they sold everything in that parking lot. CDs, DVDs. Walmart is
Yeah.
closing on Silver Spring because they are always fighting and shooting over there. They
They
locked
are.
up the soap and socks to so some people can't steal from there. I go to the one on Brown Deer Road. Um, Thieves, but they want a living stealing wage. A
Right.
living stealing wage. What is a living stealing wage, BT? My brother Juan, he says they don't want us to come to those areas, but since we don't have the discounted prices, we go to the other areas. I just think we need to be smarter as a people. Like we need to really leverage our economic power. We don't. We got a mayor right now who doing everything except for what he's supposed to be doing, which is coming up with real thorough economic development plans for the city that don't encourage gentrification. Almost everything that he's putting his name behind encourages gentrification. So he's basically leading us to where they want us to be. So K Rice is talking about down in Texas. He said not here. Every area that gets developed here is given a Walmart, Target, and a Burlington coat factory. No closures, even with internet sales. Oh, okay. Down in Texas. Man, do they know how to drive on ice in Texas? What the hell is going on? I was watching some. Why don't they have salt to put down? Like this is like they flying, sliding all over the place. Is crazy. Juan says Lowe's tried twice to do business in the neighborhood, but
Right.
uh, we would not continue to take the losses to stay open. She said a little heavy thinking about his tan folks. So yeah, man, I feel a certain kind of way, man. I feel a certain kind of way about how they, you know, but and then it's sad that you're telling me. So this is what I'm hearing from everybody saying theft, 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 theft. You can't even open a business in the black community because the crime will kill it. You can't bring jobs to the black community because the crime will prevent it from flourishing. And the people are scared to bring that because that was the argument for a long time is "Oh, we want to bring jobs to certain areas because of the crime. So if everything is about crime, 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 why don't we have solutions to counter the crime? So if you're gonna say, okay, well, Walmart is if theft is apparent at Walmart and it's keeping businesses from opening, shouldn't we have a procedure or some kind of plan by law enforcement to say we're gonna support these businesses? We're gonna come up with squads or we're gonna come up with add some, but I guess they're saying we're already understaffed, Kev. So how the hell are we supposed to help Walmart?
I mean, at
Or
this Walmart right here down the street by me, there was always a cop truck. there's armed guards at the front, and there's always a cop truck sitting right there
and
in the
cameras
front.
everywhere.
Exactly.
It's crazy. And this also make me it sounds like what we saying is you a business can only flourish if you put it in a white area because white people don't steal. That's what it sounds like to me. Because do they not steal as much as us? I
Well, I
guess if
don't
you put
know.
it
How
in
many
a more
we ought to
affluent
somebody
area, they
ought
won't.
somebody ought to look into how many Walmarts closing like that in white communities.
Yeah, I know in small towns. That was the example I
Like
was given.
you know what I mean? Like let's see if it's like just in our community, Walmarts in our communities, or is it like Walmarts in the outskirts of our communities too?
Mama Jenkins said, "I'm glad it's closing. It's filthy. Management is horrible and service is pitiful. Hate to see it go, but it needs to be gone. We deserve better. I thought when Midtown was being developed, I was happy just knowing that my community was going to be able to keep our money in the community. But listen, they didn't bring the good services with them. The people will perish because of lack of knowledge. It's very sad, Mama
I
Jenkins.
mean, it's honestly by me, like I'm salty is leaving. Yeah, it was ratchet as fuck. I mean, you know what? Actually, because I bought my crib 2012, so I've been around here for a minute. So when the Midtown one was still up and running and the Riff Raff had someplace to go, this one was cool. It's when they shut down Midtown and them motherfuckers came in this direction. That's when you there was a shooting every week in the summertime and shit like that. So I hate to see. It's gonna be inconvenient for me because I'm not going to East Capitol. I don't want to go to Brown Deer, and I don't want to go to
East Capitol
Germantown.
really suck.
Well, that's what I was
Right.
about to say, Kamar. At one point, East Capitol was super ratchet, and that's why I preferred Midtown over it because it was horrible. But
Mm-hmm.
they put a lot of resources into it, and I can't help but wonder if it's because of the proximity of Shorewood, in which good white folks gonna come in there. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to make this one better and manage this one better so it can
But
work.
shit, hey, but who's to say that one ain't finna close?
You never know. You never know. You never know. But there's no the statement that, and this is in the People's News Network, by the way. The statement where the representative says there's no particular reason, but they're known to move locations around. So because remember a long time ago, one of the original Walmarts in Milwaukee was on 76th Street, on Brown Deer Road, and
Oh yeah.
that was the Walmart in Milwaukee for a very long time. They got rid of it. Then they opened Midtown, and then they had the one that was so there was Midtown, and then they reopened another one down the road from where that one's at. So it's rich man's games that they playing. Rich people, moving their money around, reorganizing. But I just
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it leaves such a hole. Now that pick and save that was there has been gone for a very long time. But from what the alderman said in that district, he said the problem is this is already a food desert. Because if you take the produce that they do sell in Walmart and Pick and Save, now what do you have on that strip? You got fast food restaurants. That's
Right.
all you got. So yeah, that now we got an issue with fresh food and stuff again. But how much of this is self-inflicted? Some people say black people just need to get their ass somewhere and sit down. Um, K. Rice said they can't even drive in the rain, brother. It doesn't last long enough to use salt. That would do more damage than good to the roads. Yeah, and from what I understand, that auto cars that go to different regions get treated for certain conditions. So cars that they know will be in the north where it's snow at have a coating for salt and that kind of stuff. So that's why you see some cars. You say, why it's so rusted out? That's not even that old because it's probably a car that was meant to for another region and it didn't have the protection. But I hear you. I just, I watch Texas because a lot of black people from Milwaukee have moved to Texas or moved south, but Texas in particular. And so I'm always watching to see what's going on because I know a couple was
Yeah,
it
I'll be watching
years
too.
ago when there was ice and the electrical grid failed, and I'm like, damn. Because
I think that
before
was
that,
just last year.
okay, so before that, it'd be like 85 in like December, and people be like, "Yeah, what up, Milwaukee?" And they had they shorts and stuff on, and it was
Yeah.
funny. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't funny no more. I said, "Oh, well,
Mhm.
power grid done
Y'all
failed.
shouldn't be laughing at us.
Missing the shit out of Burlot now, ain't you?" Bad joke, bad
Y'all
joke.
shouldn't be laughing at us.
Sonia said I worked at Capitol Mall doing security. You mean Capitol Court? Okay, doing security dispatching, and we had a lots of fights and shoots. Capitol Court, I loved it, man. It was crazy, but I loved it. I love Capitol Drive, even in its insanity. I can go anywhere and be somewhere, and I will always miss Capitol. I don't have the kind of feelings for it that I used to have when I was young. Because if I went somewhere now that was cool and the money was right, I'd miss it from afar. Like I miss your ass from wherever I'm at. Um, he said, Rick Muhammad, what up, Ram? He said, where's the alderman or alderwoman at for advocating for commercial development, Kevin Barnes? I don't know, but it's a tough sell when you start talking about crime in the area being the prevented the thing that prevents people. So they said, let's clean it out first. Well, how do you clean it out? Gentrification. That's the
Right.
only way. Like, because you can't and so what is because poor people ain't gonna unpoor themselves no time soon.
Right.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Poverty in a lot of cases is a state of mind. It's not just the lack of money. It's a state of mind. It's a set of priorities. It's a way of
Exactly.
thinking. It's a way of living. People who are victims of generational poverty, it's kind of like a sickness. It's so embedded in them to live a certain kind of way. Like even their expectations, their values of things are different from somebody. And when I say poverty, I mean extreme poverty. So you take a middle class family that's raised with a certain kind of standard, and the way they go about their day, their value systems and their norms, their cultural norms in the communities are different from one where you don't own shit. It's pretty much people going and coming at all times. It's vacant, torn down property. The expectations are lower, and the people accept it, and so they start to become the culture. They start to become poverty. You ain't just living in poverty, you are poverty now. So yeah, but what do you do with them? Sometimes you got to scoop them up and move them around. That sounds bad. I know, but what else do you do with them? Y'all tell me. He said K Ray said it didn't fail. They did rolling power outages. Oh, is that? I thought they said it failed. I thought they said the electrical grid
Oh, in
failed.
Texas?
Uh-huh. They
No,
said
they
they did
they
rolling
they
shut off.
they shut their shit off so they didn't tax the grid, but because it wasn't moving or some shit, I think it allowed it to freeze, and they was having trouble starting it back up.
I know some people it was bad.
Oh yeah, it was
And
bad,
they've
man.
had floods. I mean, natural. Sometimes for me, the deterrent factor is the weather. People say, "I'm tired of the snow." I'll be like, "You rather an earthquake or a hurricane?" I'm cool. I'll just shovel
Right,
my driveway and go back in the house.
right.
Say Rick Muhammad said a lot of J.R. Ewing racism in Texas. It's a lot of J.R. Ewing racism in Wisconsin. Serena said gentrification and crime. Ram said crime goes down with economic development and poverty is designed by crackers. Yeah, it is designed by crackers, but I think people in what was the thing we used to say, Kamar? It's systemic as well as systematic.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a lot of our issues as black people so
Mm-hmm.
complicated. They are systematic in their origin and the way they were established. There's policies and procedures and redlining and all kinds of different things. We just talked about the race codes that are written into property deeds for surrounding suburban counties here. Like Wauwatosa still got those codes in. Now they said it's illegal, but the codes are still there. It's still implied. That's systematic. But it becomes systemic when you got a group full of people in a community who, instead of co-oping to improve their
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, compete, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're
Right,
not
right.
co-oping, we're competing, which means we all gonna fight for those little ass crumbs, right? And so then it becomes systemic. It's in you, it's bred in you. There's a culture of dysfunction in Milwaukee. There's areas of this city where the mentality, like I talk about this all the time. It's certain neighborhoods you can go in this city where you can feel it. You can look around and see people walking down the street or standing. You can feel that poverty, that kind of mentality, that survival instinct. That's like they
Mm-hmm.
say when you in survival mode, you'll do some dangerous things. Ram said these whites.
Yes.
I can't put it. Can we still put it all on white people? Is that
No,
I don't think
Mm-mm.
so either, Sean. I I know they have their, they have their involvement, but I look around, I keep saying to my people, how much of your power was taken versus how much you
what did
gave
you give
away.
away?
You feel me? And so
Yep.
I think we need to start
And what
asking ourselves
and what
that.
are you willing to do to take it back?
Uh, right? Alley oop, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Now,
Now that we know, because once we ask ourselves the question and you say, you know what, you're right. How much have I given away? Sometimes my assumption or my inferiority complex creates those kinds of disparities. So maybe I should start fighting that. If I didn't feel so lowly about myself based on what they had told me, I wouldn't spend the majority more money collectively as a race on cosmetic products than we spend more money on cosmetics than anybody. Hair, clothes, look at what the Asians have done with cosmetology. They've come in
mm,
nails. I mean, listen, we're buying fried chicken from Arabs. No, come on, man.
yeah.
Come on, man. We buying fried fish from Arabs, and we line
And
up
we
to get
buying
it.
barbecue from Koreans.
Right. So um, Deborah Jenkins Simmons says you are so right, Rail. I just gave up on all Walmarts. I go to Meijer and Target. That's like Dollar Tree. Most of these motherfuckers are filthy and unorganized. I like Dollar Tree, but you got to go and pick and choose which ones to go to. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man, but it's sad. It's sad that our communities are like this. Ram said, "No, Kevin Barnes. Tell me what you disagree with, Ram. I told you we welcome any and every opinion on here. The number actually is 262-202-5131. You want to call in and disagree. Just respect the platform, please. Don't make me act ugly. Um, you know, Texas is independent, no government regulations, multiple energy companies, so the grid would have been overwhelmed had they not did it, and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out as planned. Lots of lives were lost. K. Rice said, "I'd never miss Burleigh." I hear you on that, K. Rice. I hear you on that. Ram, what's going on, man? Ram, you with us? Hold on. Oh, no, I missed. Hit me back, Ram. He's trying to hit us. Sean, you know I'm gonna put you on hold. I gotta send Sean the link, so we want to put him on hold. Let's see. Sharina said, "Man, the greatest war against humanity uh took our water is to take our water and electricity. Yeah, the greatest war on our dependency on, especially with electricity, man. Electricity is a drug, man. A lot of us wouldn't be able to function if this grid collapsed. They don't know nothing about cultivating no food, planting nothing, killing nothing, hunting nothing. We be
That's
woo,
that's
it'd be
why I'm
crazy.
that's why I'm teaching myself how to garden. That's why I'm in these Wisconsin foraging groups where they teaching me how to identify fucking mushrooms and plants that I can use within our backyard. We
Man, that is
always gotta consider that, man. We ain't shit but a natural disaster or a button push away from being back in the dark ages. And if we ever find ourselves having to produce for ourselves or having to barter, it will behoove us all to learn this shit. That's why I've been doing. Like my next thing is I'm about to download. I'm about to try to find the old Boy Scout books and download
Ram.
that
I had you, Ram. Hit me back, Ram. Go ahead,
so I could
Ram.
learn how to start fires and make small nooses for catching small animals. Like this is shit that we probably need to brush up on just because.
That's one thing I'm appreciative of my father for teaching us is how to hunt and fish. I really like, and my parents teaching me how to garden. But that's one of the
Man,
benefit of have one of the benefits of having them old country parents, them old
see, I
Mississippi
got an
parents.
old country parent. Like my pops grew up in the hills of West Virginia. Like and riding horses, all that stuff. I don't know. Like we'll watch some old country shit, and they'll be dressing a deer or a hog or something. He's like, "Yeah, you got to cut it from the diaphragm down." I'm like, "Man, you ain't never taught me none of this stuff. I didn't even know you knew this shit till we start watching." He like, "Yeah, I didn't want that life for y'all," but it's like, man, I would have loved to have them kind of skills.
Oh no. We I witnessed many animals get gutted in the garage. Uh Sonia Thrower says, every time I came home, I say, wow, my neighborhood changed, the city changed too, and still wow. But I pray for everyone. I still have loved ones. Cops plus being She says she still have loved ones. Cops plus being robbed at gunpoint a block from the house. I'm trying to read that. Y'all know I'm remedial. Erica Veal said we're miseducated. Yeah, I believe that.
Mhm.
Sonia Thrower, she said it's like that down here. Ram, what's going on, man? You ready to throw blows at me? What's going on?
Mm, well, let's just be real about this, man. If you go back to hold on, hold on. You go back to our common council, um, when we had Willie Hines and Wade Ashanti just came in. There has been zero economic development from no black alderman going back to Marvin Pratt.
Okay.
So them niggas that's been in office, a lot of them is your age, ain't did shit. Absolutely nothing. But like when we was with the Panthers, they had spent over $5.5 billion downtown in that same time span, not counting the $245 million they gave the white boys for the Bucks, taxpayer money, or almost $60 million to for the trolley, the Park East Hotel. So if you ask Stamper, Harris, Wade, Davis, Hamilton, any of them, you can go look on the books. They have done zero economic or financial legislation, and I would say might as well say 40 years. I mean, look at the streets. That's a prime example of that. So the question comes back: why hasn't Ashanti Hamilton, now he's over at the Slush Fund Agency, what they call it, office or something? Why
OVP.
hasn't he enforced? Yeah, why has he enforced? You can look it up. The minority business ordinance to enforce 30% participation for black contractors on all MPS and city contracts. 30%. I have not heard none of those niggas open their mouth on none of it.
Okay, and
None
that's
of it.
that's
So
all facts, Ram. But tell me this: Tell me this. What that got to do with the behavior of some of our people in our communities? The egregious
Bro, that's all
behavior.
connected.
Okay.
Because crime is connected to economics, Kev. Okay? Crime it breeds, the lack of economics breed crime. Because if like in the 70s when I was growing up, this stuff wasn't going on. It was not going on. What you hear most about is brothers getting harassed by the police, getting beat up downtown a little bit. But this stuff you see now, none of that went down. None of that. Now, take it was white folks in your neighborhood to get mad about you stepping on the grass, that sort of thing. But as far as what you see in the street, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That started to the 80s when I got to high school, when they started closing up these factories to attack the black family and the black man. So you can go from Reagan administration to now. That's when that started taking place. Mid-80s. Jobs up, cocaine and drugs came in. Facts.
Yeah,
That's what the movie Clear and Present Danger by Tom Clancy, Clear and Present Danger. That's what that movie about Pablo Escobar.
Ram, I still feel like I feel like you're making an excuse.
I'm not making no excuse.
Hold on, hear me out.
I'm not making no excuse. I'm not making no excuse.
The reason why I say I feel like you're making an excuse because you're saying because there's poverty here, that excuses our people to be the way we treat each other. The level of crime in our own communities that and I'm not going to say black on black crime. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say crime. The mentality of our people, whether it was happening in the 70s, whether it was happening whenever, black community, the black community, hold on. The black community has always been a treacherous place. There's always been crime in the black community. There has always been crime in there's always been crime in the black community. No matter where. There's always been crime. You look at you talking about the 70s.
The crime is breeded due to the lack of economics in these white people. I'm not giving you no pass on that.
It sounds like you giving the people who are doing the crime a pass.
No, I'm not giving the people that's doing the crime.
The communities are poor, so that's their excuse.
What I'm saying is, this was all by design. Hunky set up and designed it. This just didn't happen indiscriminately. This is a chess game.
I understand.
They write laws. Look, if you go look at the HR House Resolution 5220, the Anti-Drug Abuse Bill 1986, that was written up under the Reagan-Bush administration, and it's talking about how to deal with when they bring the drugs in and what they're going to do, and also giving money to people to build prisons. So these white people got prisons in these places where there's growing food. How does prison pop up? How do they know it's going to be a surge of people going to jail?
Once again,
they built the Baskerville prison, but that's the second supermax prison in the United States that was built in Wisconsin. The other one is in Denver, Colorado.
This is stuff
that I've seen over a period of 30 years.
We started the conversation by saying we understood that it was a systematic nature to it. It's systematic and it's systemic at the same time. My experiences of working firsthand with people who live in poverty in this city has shown me that there's a mentality. Has shown me that there. It's shown me that there's
more fathers in the home.
It's showing me that there's
a culture. Why is there not more fathers in the home?
Ram, you got to let me talk, man. You got to let me talk. Okay, we're not gonna yell over each other. Got to let me talk. There's a culture of poverty. There's a way that people in these communities behave. Yes, we know that there's some systematic ills. We know that white people have done all kinds of treacherous things, but it still gives some of the behavior that I see in the community is stupid. It's just like, dude, there's no reason for you to even have that mentality towards each other. It has nothing to do with a white man. It's a self-inflicted wound. I think it's when we stop saying that, we start losing focus on the picture. That's all I'm saying.
No, I disagree. You understand social engineering.
I understand social engineering, but once again,
it means it's by design. So what I'm saying is, why is it more fathers in the black? Why is it like, I think the number I heard was like at one time 72 to 75% of black men in a certain age group has been arrested for either a misdemeanor or has served at least 6 months in jail in the city of Milwaukee. It was over a period. Matter of fact, Dr. Mark Levine did a good study. I'll send it to you. He talked about the problems in Milwaukee, and they pretty much fired him from UWM for writing a study. And this is a white Jewish guy. So what I'm saying is, I'm not giving them no pass. And the second part is, Why is it that you got these agencies like SBA and these other agencies where black people try to get money, start businesses, and it's almost to the point where you just give up and say, man, I'm just going to get a job. But white people are not having that problem. I deal with this every day. I work in real estate and commercial development. I'm dealing with these hunkies.
We're not going.
And they come with all these new different type of programs. So what I'm saying is, when you don't have the economics to improve your community, you don't have a quality of life. You just don't. You don't.
Well, we could go on. I'm not even. You know what? We could go on and on about this because some people would argue our community was in better shape when we didn't have money, when we were poor. Because my mother and them was way poorer than economically. We were poorer then than we are now. There's more black.
No, I disagree with that.
Black people have more access to wealth now than they had then, and the community is worse.
No, they don't have more access to wealth right now. The unemployment rate for black men aged 16 to 55 is 60% in the city of Milwaukee.
And how many of them are choosing not to work? How many of them are choosing not to work?
No, it's not, bro. No, it's not. The Business Insider did an article, and you can look it up. Raphael Bostic, he's the Federal Reserve president for the Atlanta Bank, number 11 or 12. He was on CNBC having this conversation because they said it was 10.6 million jobs that were open. And he said there was over 800,000 black men ready to take the job, and these white companies will not hire them. He said this last week. I'll send you the article. We're not giving white people a pass on this racism. We're not doing that. We're not doing this today.
I need for you to stop yelling in my ear, though, because you're starting to make my earphones overmodulate.
Oh, man, my bad, man.
I need you to calm down and take a deep breath, first of all, because
I'm good.
You get fired up. Ram, get ready to say something on your ass. Go ahead, come on.
No, man, no. I only chop crackers and Sambos and Stephens. So you're not neither one of them. So we good.
I think both of y'all are correct. You
right.
know what I mean? Because see, it's like we know that they have put stuff, you know what I mean, in place to put, you know what I mean, roadblocks in front of us and shit to make it harder for us. We do know that. But at this point in life is what Kevin is saying, you know what I mean? Like, look, we got to quit blaming them. It's time for us to take ownership and figure out what the fuck we got to do next. What do? We can't be blaming it. We gotta stop blaming and start figuring out what we gonna do to fix our shit.
Okay, it gets confusing
I agree with Kamar.
But
you know what? You can't have a movement where you don't have a knowledge. It's just like if you don't understand what's going on, how can you have a plan of attack? You know. Right. So
go ahead, Real.
Everybody in the community don't have a comprehension of what's going on. Like, or they know certain things at certain levels, or what they're experiencing on a personal level. But this is a collective thing. It's like you see the bubble, you can punch your hand through it, but you don't go to the bubble.
What was you about to say, Real?
It's like that.
Well, what I was gonna say is I think the confusion comes in where just because one is taking place don't mean the other one stop. Like I agree, it's systematic and it's systemic. Like you said, it's they haven't stopped trying to put a boot on motherfuckers. It's just that we've been so conditioned to abuse that now we help them abuse us and each other. They didn't stop. So both of y'all saying the correct thing, you know, but from my perspective of where I look at it and how the people I rock with look at it is, when are we going to take our power back? You know, it seems like we get mad and say white folks is doing this and that, but then we still try to utilize the systems and programs that they, you know what I'm saying? Just like when I be talking about how we try to compel motherfuckers to treat us right instead of putting in the work to position ourselves to where they ain't got a choice but to treat us right or get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? We still, y'all, 400 years and y'all been mistreating us. When will y'all treat us right? Fuck that. Stop asking. Stop trying to use their programs. Stop trying to say, hey, let me get more jobs and shit. You know, like the greatest thing about the internet to me is it removed the middleman. You know what I'm saying? Now, I heard Bun B on a podcast yesterday because he was talking about his Trill burgers and shit. He said, now with the internet the way it is, they've removed all the gatekeepers. He said, now with the internet, if you still broke, you just ain't got no hustle to you, or you ain't figured it out yet. He said, because now And I used to say that too, because now if you want to be a movie producer, you can do that shit with Tubi. You want to be a rapper,
Easiest way
you
to do
can
it.
get your shit on all other platforms without having to beg an employer or a group of motherfuckers to fuck with you. The internet connect the manufacturer directly to the consumer. We ain't got to deal with all the fuck shit that people prior to us had to deal with.
So let me do this. Let me catch my
Oh,
chat room
okay.
up. Let me catch my chat room up. Mama Jenkins said I'm trying to get more room for my garden, and I can't wait to plant. She says she still got collard greens and peppers, tomato sauce, and yellow squash in her freezer. Those greens are the best. I
Yeah.
want to get back. I want to get back to gardening. I did it one year. My
Hey,
wife
do
and I.
it, man.
It was great.
It's a form of
I
meditation
did
for me.
slip though. I did slip and I didn't put my fence up in time, and so the squirrels kind of came in and
Yeah.
gapped me, but we recovered. It was still a lot of good food. Um, and Serena says facts. The war on drugs was launched in response to crack cocaine. President Ronald Reagan officially announced the current drug war in 1982. I'm gonna get to that. We'll talk about that. Uh, Damian, what's on, my brother? What's going on? How you doing? Welcome to the show. It says accountability is at an all-time low,
What
while
up, Damien?
victimhood is at an all-time high. We can't keep blaming everyone else for our problems. I got you, my brother. That's all I was saying. I need some accountability. That's not aimed at what Ram was saying, because what he was saying is true facts.
Right,
But I'm
right.
talking about that knowledge is out here, and if you don't know, it's because you don't want to know it, because they're not hiding it anymore. And so I think living in the hood is the best place. Like, you can see the future right before your eyes. You can see what happens if you make certain decisions. It's walking right in front of you. It's driving right in front of you. Serena says a few years after the drug war was declared, crack began to spread rapidly in the poor black neighborhoods of Los Angeles and later emerged in cities across the country. I grew up during the crack epidemic, Serena. Believe me, I know. The formative years of my life, from 10 to 20. Serena says Ram is passionate. We know Ram is passionate. I know how Ram get down. Ram, you start talking about black people stuff, Ram get real hype. I already know. That's my man. Don't let our interaction on here fool you. I talk to this brother all the time, and most of the time our conversation sounds just like it sounded just a minute ago. Kay Rice says adults need to make adult decisions that better them and their families. Our communities are staying in what they are used to. Okay. Um, she said the timing of the crack crisis helped fuel conspiracy theories and general speculation in poor black communities that the war on drugs was part of a genocidal plan by the government to destroy black people in the United States. The new Jim Crow.
It was.
All facts. We know that to be
It
true as
was.
well. Sonia Thrower said white companies hire who they want to work for them, but some black men live off women all the time. Uh-oh. Said some black men living off women. Dennis Torres, what's going on, my brother? He said Thompson is speaking facts. I'm with you. Listen, not to say pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I don't like that. But I think this is the thing. They say if you find yourself in a hole, you got to stop digging. That's the first thing you got to stop doing. And I keep saying a lot of us will take this knowledge that we have about how the odds are stacked against us, and it becomes a crutch. It becomes an excuse, as opposed to becoming motivation to say, you know what, I got to hustle a little bit harder. I got to make it happen. So that's what I'm saying. I think accountability comes into play, because how many of us have dealt with an individual who's egregious in the community and they say, these white people don't want us to have shit. They ain't gonna never let us have shit. They ain't gonna. It's like we've adapted this enablers mentality.
Okay,
Go ahead, Ram.
But Kev,
Go
I hear
ahead.
what you're saying, but I'm only going from a standpoint is I've been a campaign manager 3 times over the last 20-something years, 25 years here, and I've seen how these Negroes, the niggas say one thing, they get in office, they do something different. You know, even when I worked in Madison, I worked for Polly Williams. I was taught research by Larry Harwell, who was writing for the Community Journal, and I saw from the Madison to the Milwaukee how all this was being played out. And during the Thompson administration, really, that's when a lot of this stuff was laid down for what we see now. And Thompson used black people in position to put us in this condition we're in now. Now, I will say this. If I got some knowledge, you got some knowledge, you got to at least get 3 or 4 brothers with you to try to build. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Dr. Claude Anderson even said it black white labor, black wealth. I mean white wealth, black labor. He said in white corporate America, when they look in their company and start seeing that it's becoming 5 or to 8% black, they start making changes and make sure that the doors are shut. But my thing is this: okay, we got a few over there, but why are we not getting engaged in construction? Because construction controls 41% of the jobs in America. Because you got to build something, you got to restore something, you got to tear something down. That's where it's at. So NPS, when I got out of high school, they took industrial arts out of school. That was in I got out in 83. They said we don't need. The white folks moved it out to Waukesha, and they thought about it. They took it out to school, sold a lot of their stuff. Matter of fact, in Madison High School, I went back in the shop there. They turned that into like a classroom. Took the car, lift everything out. Had to be black people involved. Howard Fuller. Yes. We got black enemies that are notable people that need to be called out. Some of them still walking around. That's a fact. We got black people still walking around. Now, the second thing is, why we don't have a black bank? We got a savings loan. That's not a bank.
Because nobody open one.
We got 500,000 black people here. We do not have a black bank.
Because nobody open one. Nobody felt like doing it.
Almost 60% black. We do not have a black bank. So this comes from these so-called people who are appointed, selected, however you want to call it. They don't even like black people that's in the black community. They just come to benefit, and they take their money wherever they go and deal with whatever. We still love our community. We do. I do. I'm right here in the hood with you, Kevin. So I'm just saying, I'm only speaking truth of what I've seen over a 40-year period, and I got to call these people out. It's the people who sit down and push the pens and make the ordinances, statutes, and the federal law. Those are the ones that's doing the most damage. The ones that wear the suit.
Thompson Damien. Is that the way you say your name, or is it supposed to be Damian Thompson?
His name is Damien. Yeah, I know him. That's a good brother right there, man.
Okay. He says we know systematic oppression is real. However, we can change our own behavior quicker than we can change the American system. I like that. And that's what I'm speaking to. I like even understanding what Ram is saying is absolutely positively real. Rest in peace to Chris Johnson, because when I asked him the same question about the black bank, he told me, and this was his quote, the reason why Legacy Bank failed is because they ran it like some niggas. They ran it on some nigga bullshit. And that's why it failed. But that's not the white man's fault, though. That's not the white man's fault.
What I'm saying is black people working the behest of white people. They're told to do that, Kevin. They are told to do that.
I don't feel like we can blame nobody.
About the black boule and all that. That's another whole show. But see, there's other forces that are manipulating stuff. Because one of the jobs of the black boule, what they call them archons, and archon is the devil, is to maintain and keep us at bay. And they do stuff behind the scene that you don't even see. And some of those people have names you know, some you don't know. But they are in key positions, and they run back and tell master. That's what they do. Just like William Holman. Holman used to be the CEO or president of the Urban League. I think his name is Holman. I know it's Holman. He was over Steel Tech, right? Steel Tech went under. Why? But he getting an award by the FBI. It's pictures on the internet. This black man got an award from the FBI. They don't even say what he got an award. But what do you do to get an award from the FBI? You a black man in Milwaukee.
So my question to you would be this, and let me first let me catch the chat room up again, because I hate getting behind on my chat room. She said it's a mindset. I am not blaming that polar bear. She said construction workers are majority need more trade opportunities. I think the game shifted where MPS doesn't do it, but as a former employee of MATC and the way that they've overextended themselves to MPS, any and every kind of vocational trade that you want to do is downtown, and they'll let you go for free. I've also even said this though. We understand infrastructure is the way. So you're right. Infrastructure is where the money is, because bridges got to be built, highways got to be laid. You feel me? Like all that stuff has to be done. And so, but our kids are presented with opportunities to get involved. I'm telling you, I had black kids touring MATC, and I had them in the CNC machining area, and the instructor was explaining, who's a black man who was in the business saying you can make over $100,000 a year doing this, and it's as simple as learning this program and just standing here by this machine. I had to make the kids, black kids who were Gear Up students from different MPS schools, I had to make them take their AirPods out their ears. I had to make them,
Right.
pay attention because they didn't
Because
even want to
you
receive
fighting the
it.
cancer culture.
They didn't even want to
You
receive
fight
it.
You are fighting the cancer culture of the Jay-Z and Meg Thee Stallion and all that shit. That's what's on their mind. They want fast money. They want fast money. You talking to them and they don't hear you, but they hear you. Or they say, this is a way to get out the school building. Let me go out here. But the sincerity of it, it may take a half a decade or half a generation to make some change because you're not going to get that first wave. Because some of them are just entrenched. They are going to be involved in criminal behavior. They grow up in it.
I don't think that's what he's saying, Rand.
Serena says that kickback thing with Gary George is another reason, and OIC once again, which is a program that's put in place in the black community to serve black people, and the black dudes who were running it. Since you pointed out my generation, Ram, who I believe your age, right? Who robbed them blind, right? And so them were some brothers. Them were some brothers. Them 70s.
I know how all that went down. They did.
Them some 70s brothers though. Them some brothers who come up.
They were 70s and 80s brothers.
They were
they ran it in the crowd.
OGs by the time the 80s came around.
Yeah, they ran it, and most of them went to prison.
They did. But
the
community lost.
Quick, I'm gonna tell you what happened with that. OIC was the program ran out of Randall Robinson out of Washington D.C. In most cities, it's successful, but you gotta understand, you got them country back down south niggas too. That's what most of the ones that came up here with, and they see a way to get some money. People like Jim Milner, Tony Fikes, Eve Hall was involved with that. Julius Morgan was involved with that, which I think he done passed. And Tommy Thompson, what he did when they took all the money out of welfare, it was $7 billion. They took $7 billion out of welfare. 35,000 people off the rolls. He split the money. He took 3.5 billion, and he gave the rest of it to OIC over a period of 6 years while he was in Washington D.C. And them Negroes went crazy, man. They went plumb down crazy.
Right. So with all of that said, that don't got nothing to do with the price
So
of
what I'm saying,
TNT in
that's how
China
the
when it
bank went
comes
down.
to. Right. No, I get you on that, but. All of that's facts, but that has nothing to do with the mentality of some of the people in our community right now who are habitual line steppers.
What you see today is an offset of a viral mentality of poverty that comes from the lack of resources and how people grow up. So when somebody said they ain't got nothing, they feel like I can do what I want to do.
I feel like they wallow in their own misery.
They can do what they want to do. They don't care. And some of them will get locked up to be somewhere because where they live, they may not have no heat, light, gas, or food. I mean, it's like over 5,000 young people that's in shelters every night that go to MPS.
K. Rice, you are correct. Night. He says, true, they removed those classes. He said they removed those classes, but MATC still has those courses available. Am I correct? Yep. The old saying goes, I put money in a book if I want to hide it from black people. Yeah.
But why not put it back in the schools though, Kevin?
Kobe Lloyd, hold on. Let me catch the chat room. Kobe Lloyd said, get the occupiers off our damn land.
There you go.
Thompson Damian says, speak. Yes. Okay. Ram K. Rice said Ram is making this up as he goes. Too many excuses, brother. The answer's in your face. It's called choices. Okay.
Man, I ain't trying to hear that nonsense. You can smoke that shit. I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. I've been out here in the trenches over 40 years. I ain't trying to hear that, Kevin.
Mama Jenkins says my husband worked at A.L. Smith and he was a tool and die engineer and he made that kind of money on that corner, but they don't have those kinds of jobs now. Well, I think that there's some healthy wages out here for us, man. I see. Listen, okay. Let me finish the chat. Hold on.
Majority of the wages going on right now. You know what's going on in the job market right now that they lying about, but they did it in a different type of way.
So
I'm speaking to people that I'm in contact with every day. So you see some place that says paying $19 an hour, right? But you're not working full time.
Hold on.
They'll give you a schedule where you may work 2 or 3 days, and then if you want to get extra hours, they ask you, do you want to stay overtime?
Sonia
So far as
Thor,
getting 40 hours, that's not going on.
Sonia Thor
That's not
says
going on.
these
But they put the illusion up there like, oh, we're doing well. But like I said, the article, and Brother Raphael said it's 10.6 million jobs. I'm going to send an article to you. Open. And it's costing the American economy $50 billion by not hiring black men. And he even said if they was to hire half the number in corporate America to those jobs, that it would eradicate poverty in black America.
So Sonia says these young people don't want to listen. I'm just reading the chat room. So Serena says poverty pimps. Let me see. My sister
Like
Sonia,
Andre Lee Ellis.
she said, I love what I do for my job. To take care of the elderly. These kids have choices. Their choices have nothing to do with what he's talking about. Thompson says, I guarantee the teachers would have a monster of a time along with liability issues trying to have trades in schools in our communities these days. Everyone wants everything instantly, and greatness is homemade, not microwaved. I like that. He said he said Andre Lee Ellis. I don't want to call people names. I really don't, unless it's necessary. But I mean, if you know, OVC scam, chat room popping, man. Y'all got to start calling in. Sharina says, Ram, you how can you be an awesome instrument in the community? How you can be an awesome instrument in the communities to hold some groups and speak to these young people. Tutu Lamar, what's going on, my sister? She said the black men living in poverty are doing it by choice. Okay. Welcome to the show, Tutu
I
Lamar.
told you what Bun B just said.
Everything is
That's
about
an uninformed person.
everything is about choice. Everything we do is
That's
about
an uninformed
choice.
person saying that.
At this point,
My only
That's
issue.
an uninformed person. That's an uninformed person that probably listened to Oprah or Ellen. Because I don't think there's no black man living in poverty by choice. I know it's not.
My only issue with this is it comes in two different levels. Number one, as a workforce a person who's worked a while in workforce development, I think what you said about the wages versus the hours is inaccurate to a certain degree, because I've reviewed personally several job listings. I've even had employers come in and beg people to work. And I'm talking about people who live in poverty, and they're saying to them, you can get this overtime and a signing bonus. And I've had people tell me, I'm not going to do that because it'll cut my disability or my rent will go up where I stay at. And not one, not two, but a bunch. I mean, I would sit in my office and make over 100 phone calls and have two other job coaches make over 100 phone calls for a hiring event where all you got to do is go online. You could do it on your phone and set up an interview, and we'd have 5 people there. So I'm saying a lot of what we some of our wounds are self-inflicted. Now, Rel, you look like you had something you want to say.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is
I'm talking about brothers I know that live in my neighborhood that I know that drive to Brookfield, they drive to Hell's Corner, they working in some of these warehouses and machine shops and stuff like that, and they be on call just like how it used to be with some of these other places. And he'll say, man, well, this week I might only can work this out. And check it out, the majority of them are working for the temporaries. They're not even getting no benefits.
But
they're not even getting no benefits.
They still do it.
And what they'll do, if the job run out, they'll go back to the temp agency and try to get plugged again. But I will say to this, in your big box stores and the warehouses, some of these places, is probably where the majority of the full-time jobs are at in some places. But hell, the Walmart closing down.
Real, you look like you had something you want to drop in here.
So this drying up. Some of these places are drying up, but that's why I'm really big on the City of Milwaukee last year, Kevin, had $1.75 billion budget. Over $475 million is construction contracts. We need to get in on that 30%. Because that 30%, and most of the black men in trade, they can't find help.
Real, you
so
look
the
like
connection got to start, or the conversation got to start. Like, you ain't gonna get it. It's not gonna happen that first year. You gotta keep.
Real,
you gotta keep.
Real, you look like you had something you want to put in there.
I was just gonna say, you know where I work right now, and if you qualify for Quest or food stamps, there's something called the Food Share Education and Training Program, where we could refer you to the FSET program, where they have free trainings to get you, work ready and things like that. And I offer it to people who qualify for food stamps, and a lot of times I'm told, no, I'm good, I'm okay. But I think what we're doing is we have to consider what the fuck? We have to consider generations. Like, I think that's generational. Like, I do know older men who I talk to on the same phone line, and they do go from Seek to in staff, to all. So they do get them jobs where they are working them factory jobs through a temp agency, and it seems like there's different age ranges, So the mindset. The older groups that I talk to, they are looking for work because they used to being
Check
employed.
this out though. We all missing one simple fact here. Those
Yeah.
dudes who dealing with that, they still doing it. They haven't given up and turned to crime and robbing and stealing.
Right.
So once again, we talking about choices. Now let me catch my chat room. Mama Jenkins, she said, and you don't have the benefits like in the older days. These young folk ain't going to no fucking jobs, to take no order. They don't take orders at home. But the benefits, you got Cobra, it's something you can still get. Poor people can still get insurance, if you don't have the benefits. But okay, Tutu Lamar said everything is by choice, right?
Yep.
Sonia Thor said young girls don't know how to cook and young men don't know how to fix a flat. Ain't that the truth? Tutu Lamar said work 2 jobs, get a trade, be a jack of all trades, and step your skills up. Sharina said some black men will have barriers to good paying jobs, so they would rather take fast money. Yeah, but you got to take what come with it too. That's what Kamar said earlier.
Hey, that's another decision.
You knew the job was dangerous when you took it, right?
Hey, that's another decision.
But Kevin, I hear what you're saying on that part. But what I'm saying, when you talk about the choices, you work in education. So let's talk. So when you got a person ill-informed, parents don't even go to parent-teacher class. They're not involved with their child's education. They breeding the criminal, and that starts when they coming out the womb. That's when you want to talk about choices and decisions. I totally agree with that. But what I'm saying is, it's a systematic thing, and the school system has a part to play in this too. Not only with the trade, but what's educating. Because when I was in high school, Rubik's Cube just started. There wasn't no college prep my first 2 years of high school. There was no college prep. With no Riverside, with none of that. It was none of that. That came mostly after I got out of high school.
Right.
So,
right.
What they call it, the Tale of Two Cities, Carthage and Athens. Well, that's what you got in Milwaukee right now. That Greek fable, that's what you got in Milwaukee right now. So what I'm saying is, I coach basketball every year. The majority of the black players, if they go to college, they got to go to JUCO. They barely be having a 1.2 graduating high school, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you.
Just enough to be eligible during the season.
I'm here to tell you,
So
don't shit on junior colleges. Don't shit, because the JUCO can.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you. I get that part. But what I'm saying is, from 9th grade going into the 9th grade, 12th grade, the choices of you not wanting to do homework or whatever, and you kicking it, that's a choice that they make. That don't cost you nothing. You ain't got to punch a clock to do that. You choose not to do that. I deal with it every year. I got 5 players right now I'm doing ACT prep for. Okay? 5 right now. Maybe one of them might be a qualifier. I told the other 4, I said, we're going to be looking at these junior cards because it's too much for you to even try to catch up. You done missed too much. You done missed far too much. So the last thing I say is, if you can't write like the way education works, what my sister was telling me last night, like write cursive, your vocabulary goes down because you're not reading. And we talking about reading stuff of substance to gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But the current culture, this toxic gangster rap culture, that's where these kids are at. They're not reading. And then the last thing I'm going to say, your son got homework every night, right?
Yeah.
Most of these NPS schools, they come on, I could never understand. How you say, we did all our homework in school. If a parent come to me and tell me that, I say, you need to go up to their principal and find out why they saying that. because they murdering your child right there. Your child is in the killing field. How in the hell are you doing all your work in school? But the kid from Mesmer, Milwaukee Lutheran, kid from Catholic Memorial, they got homework and they got projects due by the end of the semester.
Well,
And you don't
well,
find that
well.
to be a problem?
Hold on. First of all, kids who go to MPS and say that is lying, and if you did the research, you see that they're lying. But my son could come home and say that. He just knows that we're gonna follow up. He just knows that
Right.
I've been a teacher, so he know that he can't get away with that because I'd be like, there's no way you're not getting homework. So it's a different kind of expectation. Tutu Lamar said, my grandfather always said you need a job and a trade.
Right.
Sharina said the city hires felons. Tutu said, first of all, we need to educate people. You need more than just a job to make it. Okay. My brother Keaton Rice, he said, I got 20 years dealing in the community as well. KB knows in the houses, 50% of what he said is old Negro. The man won't let me advance talk. Okay, okay. Yeah, I worked with K Rice for a long time with the kids. Extensive work with the youngsters, adjudicated teenage felons through wraparound Milwaukee and St. Charles. So yeah, I know we worked a lot, did a lot of work. Shout out to him and my boy Taco Sword. Thompson said, I taught at OIC for years in the construction competency companies would beg people to work and be willing to relax most of their standards, and people still wouldn't capitalize. Ram is in the chat room. He said 80% of black households are headed by black women. Okay.
Design.
Thomas said,
And I'm that Kevin from the realtor side.
Thomas said your
I'm saying that from the
grandfather
realtor
was
side.
he said your grandfather was or is a wise man to Tutu Lamar. Serena said these young men don't have any government help. They want to be a bitch. I think she's saying. I think Serena don't like to cuss. She's a lady, right? K. Rice said getting in ain't the problem. What you gonna do with it? Knowledge is not what our community as a whole is looking for. It's quick money. That's just that. Tutu said Thompson Damien, and he couldn't even read or write, but had a lot of money and took care of the entire family. So you know what? All of these arguments are valid, but I have to lean towards what they're saying because my mom was uneducated 16-year-old girl from Mississippi who was on the run from Jim Crow, and she came to Milwaukee, and it took a lot. It was very harsh. And the Milwaukee that she talked about, that she told me about growing up, was the black community was very poor, and there was a lot of dysfunction in it, a lot of violence, a lot of people victimizing each other, a lot of people doing all kinds of egregious things to each other. And she was only 16, but what she did was she worked 3 jobs until she found a better one, and every time she found a better one, she got rid of one until she only had one. My point in saying that is, once again, if we start doing and stop complaining, if we really start really working hard, I think we can overcome a lot of our barriers. I want to say one last comment we got before I close it out. It's Dennis Torres. Shout out to Dennis Torres. He said, I live off 2nd and North Avenue. I took a trade. Now I'm a director, plant operations manager. I'm making close to $100,000 a year, but I made my right choices, period. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
all in heaven, not
Straight
bitch.
up, give it up to yourself, man. For
Yeah,
real.
give it up to that brother. Yeah, give it up to that brother. Yes, yes, yes. So listen, the conversation has extended, man. I mean, and once again, I hope everybody got a chance to be heard. Sometimes we get to a situation where people get passionate. I understand that. But it's all about, the maestro. And I try to respect the audience enough to make sure everybody's heard. So this is the thing, man. I think you have all these different competing schools of thought. You have people who say, well, the systematic nature outweighs the systemic part of it. And people say the systemic part outweighs the systematic part of it. I don't understand why it can't be both. I don't understand why we can't take the information from both sides and then form a solution based on that. I just think we argue about the argument. Like people get into it about everything. We will find a way to divide ourselves. Just like with the whole thing with the cop being killed. Um, there's 2 schools of thought because some black people we even seen on the show where some of us were saying, hold on, man, this little dude was a ruthless criminal. He was out here wilding out, man. He gets no mercy. He killed a cop. And we had some black people saying, well, hold on. Cops are shady, right? There could possibly be some foul play. As black people, this is a situation that America has created. It's a situation where we exist in constant confusion. You don't know which way is up, man. And a lot of times it takes spots like this and other platforms like this where we can have these safe conversations, these comfortable uncomfortable conversations with each other like men and respect each other, and we can do it uninhibited, we can do it uncut, unbossed, unbought, and unbothered. And so that's why I always encourage people, if you got an idea for a platform, do it. If you got something to say it, but it ain't what you do, is how you do it. So sometimes you ain't you're not talking too fast, the people just ain't listening. And sometimes the people are listening, but you're talking too fast. It's all about the method on the way you communicate. Nobody wants to be dictated to. Nobody wants to be preached to. Nobody wants to be told what to do. So we got to figure out a way to let black people know, yes, if you slip in America, you are screwed. But if you have some accountability as a man or as a woman and you take responsibility for your life, you can persevere, because both of those statements are true, right? Kamar, it's Wednesday. What you got coming up this Wednesday?
Saturday, I'm doing a Black Business Expo at Marquette University down there. So I'll be down there Saturday.
Okay.
Supposed to be a pretty big event. I don't know what to expect, but I'm expecting something big.
Bankroll, right? He said, I hear money, smell like money. Real, what you
Smelling
got
like
popping, man?
money. Yeah.
Just still building my brand, expanding my reach. My TikTok, I'm almost at like 3,000 followers now, which is dope because I just got serious about it about a month or two ago. So just to see it grow by like 2,000 followers in 2 months, let me know that people fucking with me. I'm a nerd, I'm an educator, so I just love sharing knowledge, and people are hungry for it.
And Real is not talking about TikTok like he doing Beyonce dances. Real, you
Oh,
do it's high frequency, right? Tell the people how to see it.
it's higher frequency. HIGHERFREAKUENCY. And I like to just speak on psychology and spirituality and just help people think outside of the box. With it being Black History Month, I've been trying to share a lot more knowledge of self, and to reestablish a cultural sense of pride, because that's what we lack. We lack a cultural sense of pride, which could help us see each other as our brother and our equal, to where we can collaborate instead of competing and preying on each other.
That's right. That's like I said, we stopped trying to figure out how to have a co-op and start trying to figure out how to compete. Damien said, great show. We all want the best for our communities. We also all need to do our parts to move the culture forward. We got to rebuild our families and restore the natural divine order of
Most
things.
definitely. Exactly.
Hey man, I
Exactly.
surely agree. Dennis Torres said, "Love you, brothers. Keep the words of true life." Listen,
Peace,
hit me up,
peace.
man. Hit me up for the apparel, man. It's popping. I wish I could just stay on all night, but it's after 10. Some of us got to go to plantation in the morning,
Man,
including myself. I
man,
think
yeah,
I
I'll be
think
there.
it's I think it's very important that we can agree to disagree sometimes, and be willing to come back, because we'll be back Monday. And as long as we form a community, right, and so we have to establish a majority amongst our minority, and that's what I'm talking about. We have to set the expectations. We have to set the bar high for us. We need to incorporate that into our kids. I do believe the absence of men in our community has created a lack of accountability, because real men hold themselves accountable for the decisions that they make and the behaviors that they exhibit.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there, when we know that a lot of brothers right now would rather duck accountability because it involves pressure, and they don't like pressure. Sometimes when you are trying hard, then it puts pressure on you, because you have to succeed and you cannot give an excuse. At the same time, please don't ever, 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 never, ever, 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 ever underestimate the evil of the white man and his consortium. Please
Right,
do not
right.
ever underestimate the levels and the depths that they've gone to conspire against us as people of color in this country and prevent us from succeeding. The only thing that I say to them more often than not is, I see you with your conspiracy and your contempt, and I raise you perseverance and pressure. meaning that I'm going to keep the pressure on myself, so that will continuously allow me to persevere. So I just want everybody to know, think about it. How much power have you given away versus how much has actually been taken from you? And when you run across a person who refuses to listen to reason because they figure that they got it all figured out, but they still live in these dysfunctional communities and have these counterproductive ways, you start to understand that more often than not, their criticism of the community outweighs their contribution, and that in turn makes them a coon. I will see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love. Shout out to everybody who
Peace.
called in. Hit me up for your apparel if you got to order in. It will be up this weekend and early next week. You'll be getting them. So put your Outlaw Radio gear on and represent for the community. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace.